Yeah, we on part 6. Hey, whoa, everyone's talking already. I'm already like 2 things deep, man. Yeah, you were good. Yep, that's exactly what happened, Golden Bonnie. Dang it. You predicted it perfectly. Oh, the music's pretty dang loud tonight. Holy cow. Hold on a second. Title screen music's pretty loud. Yay! So we got Golden Bonnie, we got Nova, we got Z Strange Love, and we got Sam the Wolf already. Yeah, we still have to wait for the guy for the weather in Charlotte. Alright, so while we're waiting for the weather in Charlotte, we're going to return to the desert. And we can start right away, because I don't have to wait for anybody to move in here. We've been playing for 16 hours already. Oh, goodness. Oh, come on, don't crash. Wait, what? Oh, no. It loaded and then it pushed it back to the save screen where I was like, wait, what? So it like loaded and then it's... So the music, the main menu music is loud. Yeah, I think I turned it all the way up because of that, like, what was it called? That song from whoever it was, Foxamore, right? That I still don't know the name of. So, like, I guess the rest of the music's like really quiet because I had turned it up for that and I guess it turned up for that. So anyways, Viva Revolution. Okay. So, not yet. So we did everything in here. So we're at the gates. So we're about to enter the city. We're about to attend some bowls. Some bowls. Let's attend some bowls, shall we? Let's enter the city. Oh, another map. Hooray. Town square. As soon as we enter the town square, Ulrich motions for us to stay close. People run amok, while others try to peddle their wares, waving us over. It almost seems just like Mazeo, but the products must be different.
Good. Tavern is in the same place. It's just over there, so we'll make it on time.
Wow, the people are quiet. Hold on a second. Preferences. I'm gonna lower the music volume, and I'm gonna... I decreased my overall volume. That's the problem. So the music was really, really loud. Hold on. He crosses his arms and looks around the town square. Then he rubs his arms in a way that almost hides his tattoo. But it's too late. I can already see the townspeople staring. Ulrich was definitely hiding something from all of us. I'd hate to say that he's losing our trust, but he's definitely suspicious. Nothing he told me adds up what the Alarinthians have said. So yeah, I mean he was a criminal, but what was his crime is the question. Almost out of fear, it seems the townspeople avoid us. Eye contact is as far as we go, leaving us lots of room to maneuver. I guess that helps. It'd suck if they all evaded our personal bubble. So, like, quick question, though. Like, it's like if these people are peddling their wares, right? And they're like, oh, some people are trying to call us over and peddle their wares. It's like, but yet people don't want to deal with us because he's got the markings of a criminal. He's got his scarlet letter or his, what should we call it? His indigo tattoo. Hey, T'Chucks. We got 6 people.
Let's
already.
not waste too much time out here, alright? I think we only have a few hours until the ball begins. I'll stay here, but feel free to look around for a bit.
I'm gonna stay here and, like, cause trouble, and honestly, I expected Alarinthia to be different. But it looks like I'm staring at an alternative version of Mazeo. The only thing that stands out is the architecture and the heat. That heat. It didn't change one bit when we got into the city. However, the natives seem used to it, walking around with ease. Most of them aren't fully clothed, wearing a get-up much like Ulrich's. I guess it's my fault for expecting something different out of this place. Before we head to the tavern, I decided to look around for a few minutes. Maybe it would be a good idea to talk to Ulrich as well. He's acting sort of strange. So there's 2 books. We must find the books. On top of the crate rests a book about Draiku's reign. Perhaps some young Alarinthians were reading it up on him before the ball. It definitely paints a grim nature of it paints to me stuttering. It definitely paints a grim picture of the nation. Draiku must be very strong.
Draiku's reign. In Alarinthia,
Woohoo! We read something. You can read it yourself. I look at the market stalls. There's a few books on display. Hey, I found them already. There's one about Sixers, so I figure I should give it a read. That's the term that's been thrown around recently, and I wanted to learn more.
On Sixers. Sixers, the nickname for victims of a vicious form of punishment that has since been forbidden. 6 hours is all a person can last.
You told us about that last time. Boost the music a bit. Hold on a second. Probably is okay to do that now since,
Hey,
Do you think Draker is leading us into a trap?
I have no idea, but it doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure that we can handle whatever they throw at us. But if he truly does work for Vivian, then we have some good luck. We could use some of that, couldn't we? So for now I'm going to believe Drakior, but only for now. If anything seems suspicious at the tavern, I'll tip you off. Although, the prospect of a tavern brawl does sound appealing. You haven't seen true fighting until you've seen it in Alarinthia. Just thinking about it gets my blood boiling. It's been too long. Of course, I'll try my best to keep our visit a peaceful one. I don't want to end up fighting for our freedom in the Colosseum. Their methods of punishing prisoners are still pretty harsh.
I have a feeling we'll be fighting in the Colosseum. I just a feeling I have. Yeah, it's that whole writer shtick, right? You don't put a gun on the mantle and describe the gun on the mantle if that gun is not going to be used before the end of the story, right? So, like, why would you mention a Colosseum fight if we're not going to get into a Colosseum fight? Come on. Hey, Nova, what's going on? Hey, it's Johnson. What's the weather like in Charlotte? I'm doing fine. How about you, Nova? What did he mean by Ulrich of Legend?
I hate to talk about this, so I'll try making it quick. Vivian obviously isn't the first person to rebel against Alarinthia's laws. The first one, at least in recorded history, was named Ulrich, like me. Many people followed after his ideals, including my parents. So much so that they decided to name me after him.
Lovely.
I like it. That's all it is, really. My name is a silly little tribute.
Aw, don't worry, Ulrich. Everybody's named after everyone's named after a character in history. Basically, it's like fan things. It's like, oh, name my kid Joshua. Why? Because there's a character in the Bible named Joshua. Why? I'm gonna name my kid Muhammad. Why? Because there's a person named Muhammad in the Quran. Duh. Like it's all just fan service. Everyone's name is just fan service, Ulrich. That's all it is. Oh, did you do the podcast on Nova? Oh, it's 91 degrees in Charlotte. Oh. Strangelove is like, why? King James, King Things, like everyone's named after some famous person, right? That's just what Ulrich is. That's good. That's good storytelling too, because that means it's named after somebody.
I guess it doesn't help that I also actually look like him. Or at least all artistic and textual descriptions of him. A pretty cool coincidence, but that's all it is. I knew this stuff would come up as soon as we got here. Just remember, you've known me long before this trip. Don't come to judge me by the things these people say.
I think you're lying to me, Ulrich. I think you are the same Ulrich. I think he's the same Ulrich. He's just trying to distance himself from his past. How did you actually get those tattoos?
I'd rather not talk about that right now. But I have a feeling you'll find out soon enough. It's complicated and we're really short on time. Just trust me, alright? It's nothing bad. I earned these, they weren't ripped off. Let's grab a drink in the tavern and chat.
What have you and Pro been talking about?
That's none of your business, not yet. Again, just trust me, okay? Please. There's lots going on that you don't know.
Hey Ulrich, if you didn't want your secret getting out, maybe the last person you shouldn't have confided in was Pro. I'm just saying. You know Pro. You know Pro. Come on.
That's not to say that you'll never know it. Just sit back and wait until the time is right. I promise that everything will make sense soon.
Anything notable in the town square?
Other than the tavern, not really. There's just the market stalls like Museo. However, there's no laws in place for this stuff. You can buy whatever you want in Alarinthia. Pirates make a living bringing illicit goods overseas. So whatever your heart desires, you could probably find. But I don't think you're the type of person to want that stuff. So if it's all the same to you, we should probably get to the tavern. Remember, we're on a bit of a schedule. Our time is valuable.
What? And the stuff in the stalls isn't valuable? Why are people selling it then, Ulrich? I'm sassing Ulrich. That's what I do. Alright, so let's move on to the tavern. We enter the tavern and make sure to stick close together. It was packed, noisy, and the patrons seemed pretty rowdy. I make sure to stick by Ulrich in case something breaks out. It's the hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious. Oh yeah, Clace Husky. This is the same person that made Major Minor. Or the same producer who made Major Minor.
It looks just like I remember it. All these years and nothing has changed. I guess there's no use trying to change perfection.
Yes, it looks much like it did in our time as well. If memory serves, Alarinthia is home to a unique wine, Monarch. If you have a drink, we would suggest that.
Are you a connoisseur of the spirits? Spirit? Ah! Whack.
Wow, he actually knows what he's talking about. I'm buying a few bottles to bring back to the mainland. The climate of Alarinthia affects the taste of everything.
Are you sure that Museo would allow you to bring such imports in there, Ulrich? Are you sure that's not banned? Are you pirating, Ulrich? You got the pirate nature in you now already? Just because we ally to ourselves with pirates doesn't mean we should bring contraband over into Museo. Come on, man.
Some in a good way and some in a bad way. I won't bore you with the details, but the wine is great. Let's find Vivian and get everything started, shall we?
We all nod to one another and venture deeper into the tavern. It's an open place with no doors. I can see right outside the market. It makes things noisy, almost unbearably so, but I'll have to deal with it. He's a whiskey wolf. Yeah, I'm sure Ulrich is the hard liquor kind. So we approach the bar. I assume Ulrich is going to ask after Vivian. I can't even see Draker. I look around and notice a bunch of eyes on us. Hey, you best watch yourself. I am wanted in 5 systems. Part of me wonders if this was a trap. Something feels odd. A man sneaks up behind us and stands between me and Ulrich. I don't like you neither. He had a drink in his hand. He slams it down on the table. Some of it spills onto the bar. This man must be intoxicated.
Hey, would you let me buy you a drink? Something tells me you're not from around here. I know a lot about this place if you need a tour guide.
Yeah, you don't look evil at all. I mean, you got like these purple eyes. Before I can answer, Ulrich gently pushes him away. Is he gonna say something about like, I'll buy you a drink or something?
Look, we don't have time for any antics. But if you know where Vivian is, we could use some help. You're right about us being foreigners. We've come a long way.
Oh, you're looking for Vivian. Why didn't you say so? Follow me.
Unfortunately, like, this is all voice acted, basically, so my improv voices are not needed, unfortunately. Oh, be careful. You'll be dead. Yes, exactly. Is he cosplaying? Yeah, what is this character? Is he like V from like... He's like one of those Final Fantasy characters, right? Ulrich and I stare at each other at unease.
We'd rather stay here if you don't mind. Following strangers isn't the best idea.
Stranger danger.
All right. I'll be right back. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I trust you. Have I seen you before? You look familiar.
Probably my dad, who was a pirate.
No. Now please leave us be. Don't bother us again unless you have Vivian. I'll ask the barkeep in the meantime. Maybe they know.
The mystery man nods and walks away from us. I doubt he'd be coming back. He was probably a scammer. Is there something about us that marks us as easy targets? Well, that we're wearing clothes,
Now I
probably.
guess I'll start.
Before he can continue, Draker sneaks up behind us.
Your manners could use some work, Ulrich.
I use my manners on worthwhile people.
And Vivian isn't one of them? I saw how you just shoved him away.
Wait, what? Vivian is a man?
And an honorable one at that. He deserves to be treated with respect.
I don't believe you.
Most
He
people
assumed
don't.
Vivian's...
His parents chose the name. If anything, it keeps the assassins looking for the wrong person. Try and tell me you weren't looking for a female when you entered.
It's a boy named Sue! Now how do you do? Now prepare to die. Ulrich shrugs. Draker had a point, though.
Let's get this over with then. We need to talk about securing an alliance. Then we'll do the same with Draco and take the best deal.
Vivian approaches up and stands up behind Draker.
You told them? I was having fun, Drakior. That's in short supply these days. Thanks a lot.
They're on a strict schedule, Vivian. The ball opens up in a matter of hours. Remember, you still have a move to make.
Right. A challenge at the ball. Move aside. I'll explain our plan to Ulrich. If he has any sense, he'll aid our cause.
Draker nods and steps aside. So, interestingly, like, we were told before that Vivian was like everyone was like, oh, Vivian sounds like this nice benevolent leader kind of thing, right? And we also assumed at that time that Vivian was a she. I'm wondering if the stories about Vivian are also as deceptive as, their name, right? So, and something tells me, like, sounds like they're planning something a little more darker than might be things. So it might be an interesting decision. So we'll see. Draker nods and steps aside. Our comrades gather around, having realized what's going on.
So Vivian is a guy?
Yep.
I guess so. But don't say that too loud. Something tells me it's not common knowledge.
Very smart. Helps you stay incognito. We were all looking for a girl, weren't we?
Yeah, something like that. Either way, I'm glad this worked out. We should probably talk terms with him.
You have a nice group of comrades, Ulrich. Start by telling me about him, though.
Vivian stares at me. That wasn't a reasonable request. Vivian, why are you staring at me, man? You're creeping me out. My position beside Ulrich implied that we were closer than the rest.
This is the Monarch. heir to the throne of Alestia. After we take down the Triumvirate, this is his world. A crazy claim, I know, but we have proof of everything.
Don't go around telling people that I'm a king. Are you crazy? I'm gonna get beaten up. Vivian blinks a few times, clearly confused.
I
knew that joke was coming, Nova. I knew it. I almost made it myself, but I knew it
want
was
my army to aid you, right?
Right.
Well, this is where it gets a bit weird. I want your army just as much as you want mine. Maybe we can come to some sort of conclusion.
Go on.
I'm going to Draco's ball and challenging him. Tomorrow, I plan to be fighting for the throne. We'll do it right. One last fight in the Colosseum. I had Drakior stay at the docks to watch the new arrivals. If he found a group that looked strong enough, he'd tell me. You fit the bill. Better than anyone else. So he spied on you. He heard your group talking about a rebellion and a big army. That's when I knew he hit the jackpot. Our new target was clear. But to know you came here just for me? That's pretty flattering. If you help me take down Draco in the Colosseum, I'll help you. I can offer a few hundred men and maybe more from my throne. Who knows how many people I can rally up if I take over this nation.
But you don't just care about power, right? You plan to change this nation for the better.
Nah.
Yes. I plan to model ourselves like the mainland. Elections, voters, stuff like that. No more tournaments. We've lost too many amazing people to barbaric, outdated laws.
Vivian, I'll be honest with you here. I want to support you, but the final choice rests with the Monarch. After the ball, we need to talk with Draco first and weigh out our options.
Understandable. But be warned. That's when I'm making my move. If he accepts my challenge, we'll be fighting in the morning. You better hurry. That ball is known for huge lines.
So wait, I'm betting on a horse now, right? So is this what's happening here? It's like you're making me like choose which leader I want to side with, and then you guys are going to have a duel to the death anyway. So it's like, well, I better pick the right one, or otherwise this is going to be awkward. Ulrich crooks over a pro, and they nod to each other.
Monarch, I need to tell you something. This is my homeland, and I've always wanted to change it. I have to fight alongside Vivian, even if you ally with Draco. And if Draco's terms involve destroying Vivian's insurrection, well, then I think we'll be fighting each other in the Colosseum. Remember that these are fights to the death. I have no other choice.
Well, jeez, man, this is mutiny. It's like, it's the Monarch's choice, but if you choose the wrong person, I'm gonna kill you, is what you're telling me right now. Jeez, man, come on. What happened to the drinking buddy thing? Ah? Yeah, it's, exactly, it's Klingon. It's very Klingon. We must fight for honor. Fighting Ulrich? There's no way I could do that.
I'll choose Ulrich as my champion then.
Champion?
Each side gets to choose a champion to fight with them. Aside from that, they get to choose 20 to 30 fighters. Everybody that didn't make the cut for champion as an example. This means that myself, Ulrich, and my army would fight in the Colosseum. The battle ends when either the champion or the leader has fallen. Now, I know for a fact that Draco doesn't like to lose his own men. So, if I challenge him at the ball, after you ask him for his support, I bet he'll make you fight me for it. You know, use your men instead. He's predictable, but you use that to your advantage, Monarch.
I hope it doesn't come down to fighting each other, but for the future of this nation, I will do what I must. Now let's get to that ball and see what Draku wants.
He's probably expecting you. If Drakior scoped you out, I'm betting Westy did too. That's
Yeah, right,
Draco's
wrestling.
hand. Just be careful out there. I'll be making my move right after he addresses his people. Make sure you're there. That happens in the throne room. Just don't make the wrong choice, Monarch. Go with me.
He smiles before walking away with Draco and Toro. So he needed us just as much as we needed him? I guess in that case, that worked in our favor. I didn't expect Ulrich to side with Vivian, though. I thought he'd wait for my choice and then fight alongside me. To know we could be enemies in the Colosseum, that's terrifying. But it seems like a real possibility with each passing second. It makes sense for Draco to use expendable foreigners as supporting fighters. At the end of the day, it really only mattered who the leader and the champion were. Vivian and Ulrich. Draco and who? I guess we'd find out. We stay in the tavern for a while before leaving. However, our next destination was clear, the castle. Hopefully the line for the ball wasn't horribly long. Oh, don't worry, it's a whole 3 hours long, guys. Alright, so we're going to do one of these.
I don't want to watch Ulrich fight in the Colosseum. If the Monarch sides with Draku, then he could die.
But he's prepared to die for his beliefs, Fortane. There isn't a better way to go. A true, noble end.
Honestly, I'd prefer if his life had no end at all. I have a feeling this choice will end up dividing us. I don't want to fight against Ulrich or watch him die.
It's all about respecting his wishes, Fortane. If he puts his life on the line for Alarinthia, we can't deny that. You do the same for Valinor. In fact, you already are.
Really?
This war is just battle after battle, Fortane. You put your life on the line back at Rebel HQ. That means you are ready to die for your beliefs.
I guess you're right when you put it that way.
So Ulrich isn't just fighting for Alarinthia. Remember that our army gets a boost out of this. At the end of the day, it benefits all of Alestia.
But what if the person we side with loses?
That's what makes things difficult, Fortane. Vivian is the right choice, in my opinion, but not the correct one. The correct choice is Draku. He's won every battle and has a huge army.
This is pretty complicated. So far, every choice was concrete. There was no room to choose and then lose.
Alarinthia is different than everything we know. I guess it makes sense that things would change once we arrived. The Monarch has a tough choice to make. It's a gamble at best.
Yeah, that's what I wondered too, Nova. If these characters that are playing their voice actors are the actual people. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one, for multiple reasons.
It shouldn't have to be that way, though. The future of a nation in our world is a gamble? That's bad news. Vivian has the right idea here for sure.
You mean abolishing Colosseum battles?
Yeah. Things should be just like the rest of Alestia. If they were, then we wouldn't even be in this situation.
But we shouldn't change something just because we don't like it. That's what the Triumvirate did to this world. We can't be like them. Alarinthia has been fine since the dawn of time. It can continue to be fine. Besides, Valinor is the exact same way. Independent, with its own hierarchy and leadership.
Well, Valessa plans to keep it that way, yeah. But honestly, I want unity with the other nations. I think the same would be best for Alarinthia. The Triumvirate changed this world to suit them, right? That's not what we're doing. We're liberating it, making it better. Our end goal is different, so I don't think we can be compared to them.
You have a point, actually. Maybe I've got the wrong idea. A flip coin does the same thing until it lands, after all. The truth is only shown after everything is said and done.
Exactly!
In that case, maybe I do side with Vivian. With Ulrich's strength, he may stand a chance. I hope the Monarch is on the same page as us.
I guess we'll find out once we get to the ball. But I wonder if Draku will request our aid. And for that matter, who will its champion be? Gosh, I hope things don't get even more complicated. Not sure I can handle a web more tangled than this.
Oh, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
Alright, so we're going to go to Sylvie's thing. Sylvie 9. Sylvie knelt before his masters, with Halen in shame behind him. The time had finally come to tell them what had happened in Mazeo. Having Halen's support, however, meant that they wouldn't learn the full truth.
The general of the rebellion has fallen. Good work, Shane. You've earned our trust. We had a feeling you'd prove yourself useful. But what of the seer? We notice that you don't have our blade. This displeases us. Please, explain, Sophie.
We thought it better to damage their morale. They have the blade, but they can never recover. Next time we see them, it'll be like crushing an insect.
You failed your mission, Sophie. We wanted you to retrieve that blade. Now they have time to regroup and replan.
Yes, they have time, but not enough. I know where they'll be going, Masters. With your permission, I'll go and end this.
End what should already be over. Sophie, do you realize what you've done? There's a reason we needed that blade. But you failed to retrieve it, and let the seer get away. Any silver lining you can come up with is simply not enough. Dominick's death will only fuel them with rage to use against us.
Well, good news
Only
then.
if we give it time to fester. We can leave immediately. Please.
So, good news then. Dominick's not dead, so we won't use the anger against you.
Halen, is Sophie speaking the truth? Do you trust his ability to carry out another mission?
Halen steps forward, nervous. Gulping, he looks at his masters.
No.
Oh. Sylvie looks shocked, as Halen has promised his discretion. He grits his teeth in anger, taking deep breaths, trying to stay calm.
Tell us what really happened, Halen. We need to know in order to plan our next move.
Of course, Masters. Sophie failed on purpose. He had the blade and the seer's life, but took neither. I don't know why. I regret letting him run off alone.
Halen.
Betrayal! Top 10 anime betrayals. Sylvie cries aloud. Cries echoes through the triumvirate chambers. His master shakes his head. His masters shake their heads, clearly displeased at this news.
He planned to deceive you all along. In fact, he had me promise to lie as well. I did, but I planned to tell you regardless.
Halen kneels down, swearing fealty.
I am unable to lie to you, Masters. You gave me life, and for that I am grateful. Shane and myself can carry out the next mission.
Yes, now we got the next bus stop is Sylvie, right, Golden?
At this time, Sophie is unfit for duty. It pains me to say, but it is the truth.
The triumvirate pauses, thinking for a few minutes. An eerie silence fills the room before they speak again. Sylvie and Halen both kneeling, looking at their masters.
Rise, Grand Inquisitor.
Sylvie slowly rises, his fists trembling with anger.
No, not you, Sylvie.
Oh, snap!
What?
Duh. You got demoted, son.
Grand Inquisitor, please rise.
They say it again, and Halen looks around confused. A few moments later, he rises, standing up beside Sylvie.
Masters?
Sylvie is hereby stripped of the rank of Grand Inquisitor. Halen, taking this mantle, you will train Shane as your apprentice. We trust that you will do as we command, and avoid letting us down.
Sylvie takes a few steps back when Halen nods.
Please, masters, I beg you to reconsider. We have them in our grasp. We can do this.
Sophie, we would have understood the failure of your mission. But lying to us, the lack of loyalty and honesty is unacceptable. It's almost starting to seem like your allegiance lies somewhere else.
It doesn't. I swear.
We cannot be certain that you're telling the truth. Surely you can see how that lie has damaged our trust. Halen, however, has proven to be nothing but loyal. Shane killed a key member of the rebellion as well. You come back to us with nothing to show but deception. It hurts us, and so you must be punished for your actions.
Sylvie head slumps, accepting defeat. If he wanted to win them back, he'd have to endure this punishment. Fighting it was useless, and would only serve to make things worse for him.
Very well. I understand. But know that I will make this up to you. Until you need me again, I'll be in my chambers.
He starts to walk the way, but is quickly stopped by his masters. Uh-oh.
No.
Turning around, the look of anger is more apparent on his face.
Excuse me?
Your punishment must be rather severe. Without that blade, we are vulnerable.
Oh, no. Dun dun dun.
Then tell me what you plan to do. There is no pain I will not endure for you.
Except for whatever you're about to tell me.
Halen, Shane, come here.
Doing as instructed, they approach the triumvirate. They turn around and Sylvie is faced by all 5 of his now superiors.
We no longer have any use for you, Sylvie. The Inquisition has been reformed, and is now stronger. We have no choice but to exile you from Balteus. Permanently.
So you're just going to walk
What?
away? Uh-oh.
You will leave immediately. This is non-negotiable. Set in stone.
Well, they're just going to let you walk out? I mean, that's better than I thought that they would do. Sylvie shakes his head and clearly fights back tears.
After everything I've done for you, you're going to what? Just throw me away?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what they do. They throw lives away. I mean, they're the triumvirate. Come on.
Yes. With our reign in danger, we need a strong core. We need men who can get the job done, without question. This is something you seem to be incapable of, Sophie.
There must be something I can do.
No, Sophie. There's nothing you can do. It's too late. Unless you march in here with that blade and the seer. Well, to put it bluntly, we never wish to see your face again.
So we're gonna save the game here real quick. No choices have really had it, but we are about to have a relationship conversation. So get ready for your first choices, probably. Ulrich, Heart to Heart 4. Will we retain our drinking buddy status, or will we try to go something else? Let's see. Ulrich sits at the tavern, taking large swings of ale. And remember, guys, it's possible that we have to fight this dude now. It's hard to accept that if we sided with Draku, he'd be against us, but it's understandable as well. He wanted to change Alarinthia. I hope that it wouldn't affect the rebellion or our unity. We can't have our key members being in arms with each other.
Have a seat, Monarch. These drinks are on me. I don't want you filling up on Draku's handouts.
I nod and take a seat beside him. I'll drink, but I want some answers. His hasty alliance with Vivian, the lies about his markings and his past. If he wants my trust, then he needs to tell me everything. I feel lost. I voice those concerns to him as the drinks he ordered to me arrives. Taking a large swing, I sit back and await his response, whatever it may be.
Trust. This isn't about trust, Monarch. Your trust in me won't affect any of your decisions. In fact, we could win this war without any trust at all. All that matters is the desire to fight for a common cause. Did you think that these little chats we've been having were mandatory? Trust me, I could have done just fine without them. In fact, I'd be better off.
On that, so like Sovi might, join our side, or he might, try to redouble his efforts on trying to kill me and get the blade, right? Because he says he wants the seer and the blade. So, well, I'm no longer a seer, I guess, but they don't know that. So basically, he might redouble his efforts to try to get me here. But Sovi, also what's interesting here is that this decision I make coming up might have an impact on that. So I could see Sovi going in either direction here. Either he joins our team, or he goes again, or he redoubles his efforts to try and capture me. And I suspect that whatever decision I make about Ulrich here is going to impact that. If Ulrich ends up remaining on our team, Sovi probably is not going to be. But if we do have to oppose Ulrich and sort of basically knock him off the team, so to speak, I'm guessing that Sovi will replace Ulrich as the individual who is my strongman character, so to speak. That's my guess. Complete and utter blind here, but if it is the case, that's really well designed. I'm taken aback by his harsh words, but I didn't let it provoke me. I simply wait. It's best if I let him clear his head instead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. This friendship we're forming complicates things. There's a reason I never kept many friends, Monarch. I'm scared that if I tell you everything, you'll just walk away. Spirits know everybody else did. Look at me. Still using superstition. The spirits had no power over us, no divine plan. Then why do I find myself still wanting to believe in them? I guess maybe they gave me a sense of comfort in difficult times. It's different now, having difficult times, and knowing the truth. What do I believe in if I want to push myself forward? That's what made me want to side with Vivian, no matter what. The desire to change my nation is what drives me to action now. And when we're done here, it'll be the desire to change our world. That's all I've wanted my entire life. It always seems just out of reach. Whenever I think I have it, the Triumvirate swoops in and takes it away. They tell you they'll give you what you want. They convince you that they'll make your dreams come true. Then, when they're done with you, they throw you away.
He lets out a loud sigh and slumps down in his chair. I think Sovi and you have a lot more in common than you think. I'm not sure why he's telling me all this, but I listen still. Even if it's somewhat unrelated, it's helpful to get him to vent.
What I'm about to tell you, I tell you in confidence. I knew Sovi before he became the Grand Inquisitor. That's how I know so much about the Triumvirate. I saw them take an impressionable young man and ruin him. Turn him into a tool meant to kill without a second thought. They took my friend. And after that, he was no more. That monster we fight may look like my friend, but that man is long gone. They made sure of that. I promised myself I'd never let them do that again.
Oh. No. Okay. Re-prediction time. Okay? Hear me out. Narratively, in juxtaposition, Ulrich is talking to me about this, right? He's talking to me about Sovi. Why? We just watched an episode about Sovi being thrown out of the Grand Inquisitors and things like that. Here is my proposition. We still don't know who the champion of the other guy is, right? We still don't know the other guy's champion. We know Ulrich is Vivian's champion. Who is the other guy's champion? Sovi is going to be the other guy's champion. That is my guess. And it is... like, I am like about 85% sure, because the story is just setting this up.
I failed. They got to Shane, just like they got to Sophie. It's almost impossible to shake off their influence. They just have this way of convincing you.
I continue listening, and we take turns drinking. Soon after, a second drink comes for each of us. I believe every word. I knew there was a connection. I look back to the vision I had at Valinorth's destruction. They said some things that revealed a connection between them, but I just assumed it was being something of rivals developed in wartime. However, to think that Sovi was once good, that's the part I find hard to believe about all this. Yet, he spared me. When he had my life in his hands.
Well, that's one of the things I had to tell you. It was a long time ago, but it still happened. I won't let it get in the way of my performance.
And even worse, guys, if I think about like what quote unquote corruption is in the sense of this game's mechanics, I've noticed that every time I've made a decision that basically that makes sort of Alarinthia more, trying to manipulate the parts of Alarinthia into being part of this whole monolithic rebellion. Like there's been corruption points. For instance, Valinor, since they brought that up. Like when I said, no, you cannot use the Tavern as a barracks to support Valinor. Or, not changing the rules too much of these particular areas seems to be the choices that lead to the less corrupt route. And if that is true, then that means that the less corrupt choice here, quote unquote, would be to go with Alarinthia's current leader, even though Ulrich wants to change Alarinthia. So I'm thinking probably too deep into the mechanics and stuff like that, but that's my guess.
A long time ago, I thought maybe I could win him back. Maybe he could change and redeem himself. But I haven't thought that in a long time. Now I want to kill him. For everything he's done to me. For everything he's done to us. There's a point where redemption eludes you, and he's past that. I guess this leads to the second thing I wanted to tell you, Monarch. Back in the desert, I told you about how I got these markings. Then Drakior said I ripped them off from the ancient Alarinthians. I wish that was the truth, I really do. But it's not the truth at all. I always tell people that I'm older than they think, but I only say that to hide how old I really am. It's not a lie, it's more like an omission.
He rests his head in his hands, his second glass now empty.
I'm old enough to have earned these markings the right way. There, I said it. I don't care if you believe me or not. I finally said it. I'm older than any of you could have possibly imagined. Very, very old.
Yep, so, yep, we're right. So I have like a 50-50 rate of being right so far. I am so confused right now. He's claiming to be thousands of years old? As far as I knew, the laws that led to those markings had banned long ago. But not only that, he also used to work with Sovi. I'd say he's our mortal enemy.
Go ahead. Tell me you don't believe me. So far, nobody else has. They say it's impossible. And soon after that, they say nothing to me at all.
So how could you have lived for so long? I guess my question. The obvious question. All right, so here's that. I believe you. The war has proven almost anything is possible. I believe, in fact, you. I believe you. In fact, I prefer older men. It's no big deal. Wow. Seriously, you could at least pretend to value my time. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Losing Sovi sounds tough. Thanks for opening up to me, Ulrich. All right, so I'll let you guys vote. No, I'm very good at predicting shit. Like I know a lot of narrative tropes. Like here's a true story. When I was in high school, a movie came out, and it was called what's it called? The Sixth Sense. I'm sure it's one of the M. Night Shyamalan one. It was actually one of his most famous ones because of the twist ending. And I was watching, like, the commercials were on all the time. This is back when TV was a big thing, and I was living with my parents still. And literally, like, one time my mom went, "Oh, I went to see that movie. It's so good." And it's like, but I can't spoil anything. And it's like, oh, and I go, and I know the ending. It's so good. You'd want to see it. And I go, let me guess. The doctor's dead. And she's like, "Who told you? How'd you know?" Like, because I hadn't seen it. And I said, well, the commercials. Like, literally, the kid's like, "I see dead people all the time. All the time." The kid's saying he sees dead people all the time. In the trailer, there was no interaction between the doctor and the mother. And it's like, if this were a psychological thriller about this kid going bonkers nuts, like the trope of the trailer would be, your son is acting very strange, and we're very concerned about his well-being. But there was no interaction like that between the mother and the doctor, and it's like, and the kid's telling the doctor this, and it's like, well, obviously the doctor's dead. Dirt, right? So it's like, to me, it's like you can't give me little bits of information like that, because it's easy for me to go, oh, that I see what's going on here. It was an okay movie. Yeah, I know. I have 3 short stories out, and also one self-published novel, novella, but that doesn't really count, I guess. All right, so what do we got? So we have number 2, number 3, number 2. I thought he was drinking buddy. Okay, we have a 1, we have a 2, we have 2 2s and a 3. Ganovo's 2, Golden Bunny's 2, Nova's 2. I figured you'd say 2 Nova. Oh boy. Anyways, number 1. So we have 2 2s. Do we want to have a rebellion and break this up? We're not going to flirt with this guy before we off him, are we? Is this what we're going to do? You're a 3. Golden Bonnie's a 3. So, yeah, you did do Golden 3 Bonnie. But there's 2 2s. You have Ganovo as number 2. We have Nova as number 2. We have Golden Bonnie as 3. We have Strange Love at 1. That's what I have so far. Oh, wait, no, Ganovo said 5. Okay. So we have 3, 5, 2, and 1. Jeez Louise, guys. Making this complicated. So we have 1 vote for each. This, and... Wait, 3, 5, 2, and 1. So somebody needs to let out a tiebreaker, or I'm going to pick the one that nobody picked, because I'm a jerk like that. Sparky Wolf goes 1. 2. Oh, Summerflex goes 2. Dang it! All right, so now we're done between these 2. Oh man, this has gotten a little interesting. Yeah, this is why you play the game for yourself, because you like, we're playing one playthrough. So we have we have one for we have 2 votes for the single heart. We have 2 votes for older men. Because Nova and Summer Blue Fox did this one, and Sparky and Strangelove did this one. So Golden Bonnie's like, dang it. Who knows if this guy's going to be around him anymore, guys. I'm fine with 1 if that helps. Okay. Alright, so we're going to do one going once. Sam the Wolf's like, I'm not having anything to do with this. Sam, you could be the deciding vote. Alright. We'll take Ganovo's at a half vote since he changed it. So unless somebody says number 2, and it's going to be number 1 going once, number 1 going twice. I believe you. The war has proven that almost anything is possible.
Really? You'd be the first. Of course, there was always something different about you.
I saw your vote, Summer.
Now that we've been through all of this, we finally know why. Thank you, Monarch. I really mean it. There's more to the story, but that's all we have time for. It's just the basics. Stuff you'll need to know moving forward.
Oh, come on, Ulrich. It sounds like you have all the time in the world. You have time for stories if you've lived that long. The barkeep comes and asks us if we want another drink. Ulrich shakes his head, sending him off on his way, and puts some money down.
My treat, remember? Now let's get going to that ball. Tonight we change history.
Ulrich's loyalty scene will be available for you when you return to the mainland. The game will notify you when loyalty scenes have been unlocked. If he's still a member of our party at that time. When they have been, you can view them by going to the ward table. Alright, so now we got the conversation between these 2 folks.
So we might have to fight Ulrich. That's pretty scary to think about, Pro.
Only if the Monarch sides with Draku, Valessa. There's still a pretty good chance that won't happen. I wonder who Draku will elect as his champion, though.
Sovi!
Well, his army is supposed to be incredibly powerful. He must get to handpick the strongest Alarinthians. I'm sure Ulrich can handle it, though. At least, I hope.
You think that Ulrich is Sean Connery? Oh, I don't think so. That would be your mother, Alex.
Well, Draku doesn't like to waste his men, remember? It's possible he'll elect an outsider.
Sam
one of
doubts it'll be
us.
Sovi.
Vivian is like an insect to him. Super easy to crush.
That's true. Like, Sovi would need to have gotten a boat somehow, but I don't know. It's just the story's pushing in that direction. I don't know, Sam.
So, we'll be fighting each other in the end? Isn't this supposed to be a fight to the death?
Exciting, isn't it?
Pro, you are such a romantic.
No, it's not. That means one of us will die.
Not exactly.
Huh?
Only the champion or the thing dies if you... It's like the other soldiers can live or die, right? That's what he's going to say.
The match ends if the champion or the leader falls. It'd be possible to end this with Vivian or Draku's death. The champion is just there to spice things up, I guess. If it were just the 2 leaders, they'd only fight each other. Having 2 champions ensures the fight constantly changes pace. It makes things sound more interesting, at least. You need strategy. Watching 2 leaders in an unending deadlock would be boring. The champions and a small army of men really shake it up. It makes sure the leaders are at the top of their game, too. They have to watch every direction and constantly be ready. It serves to show us how strong they truly are. It's crazy. Draku is undefeated, but Ulrich might just stand a chance.
I think you're kind of missing my point, Pro.
Really?
I don't think of Vivian and Draku as expendable. At the end of the day, one of us will die, no matter what. Even if it's one of them, it's still something I'd like to avoid.
Alright, see you, Strangelove.
Then it sounds like you side with Vivian, then. Draku's death would be the final death in the Colosseum. There'd be no more fights like this under his reign.
Hold on a second. Can I put that in there?
I know you're right, but it's not so easy. We have to kill him just because he thinks differently? There's no way to avoid casualties, and I hate that.
Yeah, but it's not just Alarinthia, Valessa. You could say that about this entire war in general. Sometimes it's better to
You'll be
look at
back.
people as means to an end.
I could never do that.
A lot of people feel the same way, trust me. But that's probably why the Triumvirate is in charge. We need to start looking at things differently if we want to win.
If we have to compromise ourselves, then is it truly winning? I don't know, Pro. I think I need a little bit of time to myself.
Of course.
Alright. So let's save here. Alright, so go there. To the castle. Yes. Oh, another map. Holy cow. Castle front. We enter the castle gates, and to my surprise, I see trees like back at home. There's grass, too. Almost as green as the grass back in North Alarinthia. And why are there pine trees in a desert? I have no idea how Draco got this here, but it sure wasn't cheap.
Wow, this is incredible. I know you said he was rich, but this is crazy. I've never seen such a fancy place. Not in my entire life.
Damek steps forward, truly amazed as well.
So this is where Draco lives. It seems a bit excessive, don't you think? I prefer our tunnels, a lot more secretive.
Alarinthia is all about showcasing your power. Most rulers add a wing or two to the castle during their reign. It's only going to get bigger and bigger with each passing year. Unless, of course, Vivian takes over. He's not fixated on that kind of stuff.
I can't imagine it getting much bigger, to be honest. What does one ruler need to do with all that space?
Well, he has a large army as well. Larger than Vivian's. But don't let that sway us. I think you've seen enough to know that this place needs changing.
Right, of course. So what, do we just march right in? I don't see any guards or security.
We already mentioned that there wasn't any security, which I already questioned why there wouldn't be any security. I look around and he's light. I see a lot of partygoers. They're all sipping some sort of alcohol and they look at peace. I suppose this is one way to stop people from fighting back. Yeah, I know, right? Living in a castle would get... Like, if you think about it, like, if you're talking about, like, old-timey castles, like, old-timey castles are, like, pretty, it's like if you said, well, you're going to live in, like, a modern trailer or a castle back when castles were a thing. It's like, I would rather live in a modern trailer, quite honestly, because ain't no king ain't gonna have no air conditioning. Hey, it's Jenny McGee. How you doing? I notice a large man exit the castle gates and slowly approach us. He's not carrying any weapons, so I doubt he's some sort of security. He looks intimidating, of course, but that's about it. Is this Westy?
I'll take care of this, just like before. We can't risk slipping up in this castle. One misstep, and everyone will be after us.
A moat with alligators sounds hard to maintain. Do you know how much landscaping is, Nova? We all step back, trusting Ulrich's word. He takes a few steps forward, meeting this mysterious man. Something tells me that this is Draku's guard. I just know it.
Westy, I presume. That's an interesting name, you know.
So, as far as it goes, Sam the Wolf said it might be somebody else. I'm guessing if it's not Sovi, it's going to be Westy here.
It's a nickname for your information, and you must be Ulrich. You sure stand out.
Yes, we come in peace, don't worry. We are here for the ball, and Draku. Is it possible to request an audience?
He's a busy man, you know.
So am I, so don't waste our time. Can we have an audience or not?
Westy sighs and crosses his arms.
Fine. I'll let you in to see him. He's been expecting you, you know. We've been keeping watch since the docks.
Just like Vivian's man.
Yeah, but we let him get to you first. It's not often an army comes here from the mainland. We wanted to hear his offer, so we could top it.
And top it? Draku wants our army as well? We're starting to become popular around here.
Don't let that get to your head, Ulrich. You're just as disposable to him as Vivian. You just happen to be both disposable and strong.
You might want to work on your public relations skills.
Look at this ball and then say that to me again. That's right, you can't. Now let's get going. I'll be inside the gates when you're ready.
I looked at the ball. I turned back to you. I say, hey, Westy, you can work on your public relations skills. Just because you have a large mass of people doesn't mean you have good public relations skills. It just means people are fawning over you, okay? You have the biggest audience ever. Look at this inaugural ball. Look at it. It's big. Look at my big inaugural ball. Oh, jeez. He walks away, leaving Ulrich to turn back to us. So it seems like everybody has a use for this place. Vivian was probably right. Draku would use us to fight him.
Well, that makes things easier, doesn't it?
It's huge.
This is going to go exactly like we expected.
Got the hugest
Let's
balls.
just help Vivian and get this over with. Draku has a bigger army, but Vivian has a brighter future. And that's what we were fighting for, remember? A better future. It might be a bit harder to win, but we can still do it.
Everybody nods, agreeing on this unanimously. It makes sense since they didn't want to fight Ulrich. But ultimately, the final decision would be up to me.
This seems to be going pretty well. I hope we're not walking into a trap.
Again?
Draku wouldn't try anything during his ball. This is about making the people happy, not scared. Let's hear him out. And get this over.
Sure, sounds good to me. On your mark, Monarch.
They all spread out and start looking around the area. Dominic was right. Everything seems to be going so well. We deserve it after all we went through, that's what I think. It's crazy to think that within a few days we'd be attacking Bolteus. We couldn't waste any time. We'd go right after securing this alliance. But I think back to a moment on the ship when I touched the blade. I wanted it to show me our victory, and it showed me nothing. Pushing forward in spite of that, that's the definition of hope. Hey, so, as far as, like, that goes, like, I was in the fandom from 2001 until 2011 before I went to my first furry convention. So, you know, I've been a lurker, too. I've done the whole lurking thing. It wasn't until, like, 2010 and 2011 that I really started to sort of make my place in it, as it were. And still the place I'm in is rather small and niche, which I'm totally fine with. Yeah, I was broke back then too, like pretty broke. I was still basically like 1 or 2 paychecks away from like going, oh crap, you know, like oh no. Even though I did scrap and save back then too, it's come a long way, and it took a lot of work, but you know, I'm finally at a place where I'm sort of at ease. You should, if you go to your first convention, you should have somebody you trust to go with, for sure.
What's this place for?
Security normally, but there isn't any during the ball. Anybody is just free to walk inside.
Oh, okay. Is security normally heavy?
Yeah, they need to fend off assassins. As a ruler here, you're constantly a target. I can't imagine living in that constant fear.
Wait, what happens if a leader is assassinated? Does the killer become the new ruler of Alarinthia?
No, the killer is usually given the death penalty. And then an open tournament is held to find the strongest man. It's considered cowardly to kill someone when they aren't prepared.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. I was kind of wondering. I mean, Vivian could just easily assassinate Draku, right? But now it makes sense why they didn't go that route.
Yeah, it would change nothing. Vivian would still need to fight. He'd stand no chance at an open tournament like that. A Colosseum battle is the only way for him to do this.
Would people respect the change if Vivian won? Or would they want to fight him in the Colosseum too?
They'd probably want to fight him for a while, but a ruler can always turn down a challenge. Usually they're arrogant, so they don't do that. And it's not a change they need to respect. No matter what, Vivian is still in charge. He'd likely merge with the new monarchy. And at that point, there's nothing they can do. History's already made, treaty's already signed. That is, if the monarch decides to side with Vivian.
Yeah, so there's definitely several, in that area, Golden. I'm trying to spread my convention wings a little more, because I've only really been to 3, or I've been to 3 in the one camp, right? The one camp in Ohio and like the 3, Furthermore, Anthrocon, and Midwest Fur Fest. Those are the 3 major conventions, and I should sort of spread my wings and sort of spread out a little bit more. For sure, Furry Equinox is the closest one to me, technically. I've never crossed the border, though, before, so I certainly want to, not head there alone. I would rather have a plan going into it. This would be my first foreign travel, really. And then, obviously other conventions during the year, and then the one on my bucket list is Furry Down Under, but I would obviously make like a long vacation out of it to kind of go to Australia and do like sort of touristy things, but I would want to have like other things in my life sort of lined up before then.
It seems like an easy choice, doesn't it?
I guess we'll see.
That's the security office. How do they get these trees to live in this weather? They look like trees back in the mainland. They don't belong here. It must require a tremendous amount of care to ensure they stay alive. If anything, it serves to make me less homesick. A part of the mainland is right here with me and my comrades. That puts me more at ease, so I choose not to question it further. Yeah, Biggest Little Fur Con's definitely one I should look into. Yeah, I know, right? I'm a kangaroo, mate. The gates didn't seem to lead directly to the castle. There's still a long way to go before you enter them. I can see the entrance to the actual castle far down the paved road. It almost seems like an experience to approach the castle. It's a little gaudy, but I guess we all have different tastes. I wonder why there are some people partying out here. Are they full inside or something? Or maybe they just wanted to get away from the noise. Either way, this indicated there'd be a ton of people at the ball. Alright, nothing else to see here. Let's move on. Yeah, I've been super broke too. I finally paid off my student loans though, so I'm less broker than I used to be. That's more than a lot of people my age can say. But I'm a person who doesn't like debt. I despise debt. It is a death trap, and I try to avoid it whenever possible. I think my only debt right now is my only non-filled out debt right now is my mortgage. The throne room is crowded and full of people partying. Normally, I imagine this would be reserved for Draco alone. But right now, open to everybody. It's almost like a big ballroom. A man sits on the throne, watching the people as if it entertains him. That must be Draco. I scanned the room, and I noticed Vivian in the corner. Since no one knows what he looks like, he must blend in perfectly. He must have snuck ahead of us while we were talking back at the gates. I guess all the pieces were in place. This ball was about to get interesting. I wonder how many people here are part of Vivian's insurrection. Westy stands beside Draco, and I see him whisper to one another. A few moments later, Draco stands up, eyeing down me and my comrades. Yeah, I mean, I was in debt quite a bit when I was like 20. You know, you have to get, in order to get into college, you have to get in there, unfortunately. Like, the thing about me when I was younger is, like, I was very disciplined, and I was, like, I actually learned from my parents, and they told me, like, they had issues with credit card debt when I was growing up, and by the way, like, the great thing about my parents is they were very open about it. They explained exactly what happened to them, and explained exactly, sort of, like, this is why we're cutting, like, they sat us down, like, we're cutting up our credit cards, and we're, you know, things are going to be a little tighter around here, we're going to have, like, ramen for a bit, like, and they told us why, and they kind of explained it, and, you know, I knew, like, when we were talking about that, like, that it's great because then I learned, oh, well, I got to be careful about these things, right? And I knew that at that point, and even though I was still in high school, and I wasn't old enough to have a credit card for myself yet. So I had basically avoided credit cards like the plague until I was like 25. I never used a credit card when I was in college, which was crazy. I don't know how I managed to do that, but obviously I missed out on some rewards points because I was paying cash or debit with everything. But if I had known then what I knew now, I would have done things better. But anyways, enough about my finances.
Silence.
Silence. Yeah, exactly. That's what I told myself. He looks so soft and fluffy. He looks like Xander mixed with, like, some Pikachu or something. I don't know. There's a good way to get free gas from Golden. His deep voice echoes through the entire room, and everybody stops talking. They turn to him, as if out of fear, and await his next words. But I know what they'd be. He knows who we are, and that with Vivian here, it's likely he's already ready to make a move.
We have those who would disturb the peace among us. Guards, lock the doors. We have some business to take care of.
He claps his hand once in a commanding gesture. Soon after, a group of people close into the throne room doors. They carry no weapons and are disguised as partygoers.
Now, how should we deal with those who disturb the peace? Watching them starve in the cells doesn't do much for me anymore.
The crowd starts shouting a bunch of potential punishments. Draco laughs, clearly enjoying all the horrible ideas thrown his way.
I say we hear them out and treat them in kind. So tell us, why did you come here today?
I take a step forward in response, but Draco looks the other way. Fixing his view on the corner of the room, I realize he wasn't talking to me.
Vivian.
Everyone looks at the quarter and Vivian scoffs. Well, that's for your roommate to decide. It really depends, really. Because, you know, obviously if you're roommates, you should communicate with one another about what you're doing. But, you know, if you had to go on a beer run, you had to go on a beer run. I don't know. If you shared the beer, then yeah, that's great. Because it's like, it depends on how far away the beer was, I guess. Moving forward, he stands in the center of the room.
Draco.
Dun 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 dun.
You come here on my day of celebration to challenge me. It is an insult to both me and all of these proud
He
Alarinthia.
borrowed the car.
Looking deep into
He
our
borrowed the car.
You say we're not good enough. We honor the traditions of the ancients, as we should. Without them, we wouldn't be here today. You want to tear us apart. You want to create a nation that's weak, just like the mainland.
Uh-oh.
No, you've got it all wrong. Lack of strength is not a weakness. The unity of the mainland, their shared ideals, that's true strength. You stand here, alone, victim to your incessant squabbling.
Vivian takes a few steps toward the throne with intense passion. I can tell this is something he'd been ready to fight for his life for.
We yield to no one while they are docile slaves of the Triumvirate. They crush the mainlanders under their heel, who ask no questions at all. Alarinthia is a free land. We make our own choices, and we hold the power.
He borrowed it. This famous lesson. I borrowed the car, officer. Just as long as you don't get pulled over and that you return the car. So he returned the car, so he's good. Now, as I said, it depends on who your roommate is. Just as long as you don't tell the insurance company, too. They'd be like, you did what? You drove a car that was insured to somebody else? How dare you? You were risking our money. Freaking insurance companies. Pro pushes me aside and steps forward, standing beside Vivian. Ulrich reaches out to stop him, but he's not quick enough.
Then help us gain our freedom.
All eyes are diverted our way, and even Vivian seems surprised.
We've come here seeking an alliance. We're not all mindless slaves, you know?
An alliance. And what can you offer me? You look as if I could crush you with one hand.
I'm stronger than you think. We all are. We grew up alone on the streets of Mazeo. If we weren't strong, we'd be long dead by now.
You, on the streets of Mazeo? My apologies. That is quite respectable. You must be part of the Monarch's crew.
Yes, and we've come to seek your aid. You keep talking about how strong you are, and help us take down those who claim godhood.
Everyone watches in awe as this turns into a standoff.
And what do I get in return?
Pro steps forward, confidently radiating from his very way he moves.
I will be your champion and offer some of our forces. Together we can crush Vivian's pathetic insurrection. Allow us this chance to prove our strength as worthy allies.
Okay, so it's Pro. So I was wrong on both counts then. Okay. Or we're going this way, huh? He kneels down, offering his loyalty to Draco. What was he doing? He's playing right into Draco's hands. Wesley told us that Draco needed our army. Now he's only playing dumb. Draco steps down and stares the stairs leading to his throne. He stares far from Vivian and Pro, but they're now level.
What an unconventional turn of events. Vivian, you were seeking a challenge, yes?
Yes, at the break of dawn, I will allow you your final night of revelry.
And who will fight as your champion?
Ulrich.
He motions towards Ulrich, who steps forward. Standing between Vivian, his loyalty and stance is clear.
I see.
Draco eyes Pro up and down.
And what do they call you?
They call me Pro, Your Excellence. It would be my honor to fight with you in the Colosseum. I offer my life and the life of our forces to your cause.
I step forward, ready to object to these events, but Draco speaks first.
I accept your offer, Pro.
Damn it.
Vivian isn't worth using my own men. But you lack the authority to make this pledge.
He looks straight at me, eyeing to the blade of my back.
That decision lies with the monarch. Help me defeat Vivian, and I will offer you my might. Go against me, and I cannot guarantee your survival.
This is all happening so fast, but I know that's Draku's plan. He wants us to fight his battle for him. I don't even know if he's trustworthy. But Pro, in his haste, put me in a most impossible position to manage. If I sided with Vivian and Ulrich, we'd have to fight Pro and Draku. Draku would have our forces as backup, while Vivian would have his. This was a fight to the death, so major losses seemed unavoidable. This battle would likely happen regardless of my support, so not picking a side would only harm our cause in the long run. But choosing Pro over Ulrich or vice versa could hurt our bond. I closed my eyes and clenched my fists together. I needed to stop about thinking about this so personally. So I was wrong! People would die either way. This is war, it's unavoidable. So the real question is, what kind of future do I want for Alarinthia? Do I want Draku to remain in power and for things to remain unchanged? Or do I want Vivian to overthrow the nation and ally Alarinthia with the mainland? No, I needed to detach myself even further. No Pro, no Ulrich. No Draco, no Vivian. Just Alarinthia, that's all.
Monarch, what is your decree? Fight with me, and prove yourself worthy of my help, or fight with Vivian against thousands of years of tradition.
Let's consult our advisor.
Siding with Draku is the most sound decision. His victory is almost guaranteed, and he's a large army. Remember that no one has managed to beat him in the Colosseum. What chance do Vivian and Ulrich have? We fear that this may be the end for those two. This is essentially a choice between life and death. We do not believe that Vivian can defeat Draku. Let Alarinthia stay the same monarch. It is the right choice. Draku's power will be essential in the coming attack on Balteus.
So interestingly, like if I had chosen... So basically, now remember, he was my advisor. Now remember, when I selected him as my advisor, I got corruption points. And that's the only corruption points I've gotten in this run so far. So that's another interesting thing. So let's save while you guys are making a decision here. This is a big one, so have fun. Dun 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 dun. So, Alarinthia. We're gonna go with having it stay traditional and be on the side of... So it's like, yeah, what is the future of Alarinthia? And it's like, yeah, you can say, yeah, it's the future of Alarinthia, but it's also the future of our party, right? And like, basically, it will have an impact on Pro or Ulrich's view of us, if not cost them their lives. Because in this battle, either Vivian or Draku or Pro or Ulrich are gonna die. Like, Sam's like, nope, I'm not deciding this one. Me? If it were me, Ulrich's a good dude. Nah, I can't talk about Ulrich. Do you want Alarinthia to change its ways or stay the same? Personally, I'm not very much a person of power, right? To me, it's like if I were thinking of Alarinthia and what future I'd want. If I lived in Alarinthia, I'd certainly not want the whole like Darwinism, strongest survive power thing going, because I wouldn't last 2 days if I lived in Alarinthia. So obviously I would probably put my my things in with Ulrich, right? Status quo, never change. Take on Draco. You'll be helping the Triumvirate if you don't. Well, I think we're opposing the Triumvirate either way. I mean, Alarinthia is pretty neutral right now. So we have, it looks like we have 3 Ulrichs and one Draco. All right, I'm gonna let you guys debate a little more, and I'm gonna go take a little break or go get a drink and thing. So I'll be back. All right. So, changing Alarinthia going once. Changing Alarinthia going twice. Viva la revolution! Sorry, Pro. I take a deep breath before announcing my choice. We would help Vivian in exchange for the forces he could offer. We would defeat Draco and give this nation a new and bright future. I am going against my advisor. But that meant we'd be fighting against Pro in the Colosseum. He so foolishly pledged his support, I had no idea how to react. I never expected insubordination and borderline betrayal from this.
Our lives were on the line. I had to make the right choice. I'd rather live with Draco than sacrifice myself for Vivian. Ulrich has the wrong idea. What he's doing is suicide.
Wink. Wink. I know what you're doing, Pro. Wink. Everyone starts to part ways, but the doors remain locked. People try to open them, but Draco quickly makes them stop.
None of you shall leave. I wouldn't want you running away.
He claps his hand and a bunch of servants approach him.
Private quarters will be arranged for those involved in the fight. Tomorrow morning, you will all be escorted to the Colosseum. For tonight, enjoy the ball. I think you'll find it quite exquisite.
After that, everybody goes back to enjoying the festivities. Regardless of our allegiance, we all gather up in the center of the room. I never expected that this chain of events would get so complicated. Well, Pro is sort of a sneaky kind of guy, so I don't know if I'd want Pro on my team if everyone else is on it. You know what I mean? He's got away with the daggers and the knives. You know. And Draco handled it in much calm manner too. It's almost as if he was confident in his ability to win. And it's kind of funny too, because it's like if I were like, this is a thing for my throne, I'm gonna involve this stranger here as my champion, right? It's like not a good idea. Oh, the borrowing his roommate's car. So like, yeah, you got to be careful. Like, it's like you could always get stabbed in the back by your own champion. I mean, you don't even know them, right? I mean, you would think you'd want to have some trust in them. Uncertainty, confusion, and fright soon filled my mind. He played us. He provoked Pro into pledging his loyalty. At that point, it was already too late. Pro had made up his mind. Unknowingly, they all became pawns in the fight for Alarinthia's future. I should probably roam the hall until it's time to rest. I could feel out the situation and get feedback from my comrades. That would be a key to helping me sort out this ongoing mess in my mind. That was a long time ago, man. Well, it's good that you shared the story, for sure. It's pretty funny. Okay, so we got 2 of these and 2 of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a conversation and 2 of these, and then a conversation and 2 of these. Alright, here we go.
Pro, what do you think you're doing? I had a plan, and now you've ruined everything.
Oh. You know... Yeah, you know what I said earlier? Like... Oh, Rick, you're a bad actor, okay? Let's just say it that way. I mean, your voice actor is pretty good, but Ulrich as a character, you're a bad actor. What were you talking with Crow about earlier? You ruined everything, but we were conspiring the whole way here. You ruined everything, yet for some reason you and Pro are over there talking your arses off about what you're doing. Because you, Ulrich, know how these tournaments work. You know how this thing is, and you know Pro's a sneaky jerk, so you're saying, hey, they're going to set us up on this thing, so you go over there. Blah, blah, blah. Duh. Yeah. Basically, that's what happened here.
Sorry, Ulrich. It just made sense. This is a fight to the death, right? Draco has never lost. I had to do it.
You're a bad actor too, Pro.
I had everything under control.
It's not your job to control everything. You need to get that through your thick skull.
Yeah.
You're going to regret this.
Regret? I can live with that. It's better than dying for nothing. Draco has killed stronger men than you. I don't think he's going to lose this battle. That's why I want to be on his good side.
That, and you told me to be on his good side. Wink, wink. Right? So I'm pretty sure that that's how this is going to play out. And by the way, setting that up earlier is pretty good, because if I chose either one, basically it makes it so that Alarinthia will be our ally in the coming battle, I think. And this is obviously a guess, and I guessed wrong. I'm like 50-50 here with my guesses. My guess is that, like, if I chose Draco's side, then, you know, Ulrich would betray Vivian, and then, like, if that, you know, because they were conspiring, right? So
you're just going to suck up to him? Get out of my sight, Pro. You're pitiful.
That's my guess, but... Any thoughts about what just went down?
I'm glad you sided with Ulrich and Vivian. It's important to change this nation for the better. I just wish Pro didn't have to open his big mouth. There's a very real chance that he'll die tomorrow. We've seen Ulrich fight. I think he'll win this battle. I just hope it's Draco that falls, not Pro. That sounds like a horrible thing to say, I know. But we've all grown so close since we met at Peregrino. I'm scared this clash of ideals will tear our bonds apart. I need to get my mind off that, or I'll go crazy. if you need me. I'll be in the ballroom down the hall. I heard they have a live band, and I love music.
Are you asking for a date before we die, Fontaine?
Hey,
What are your thoughts on what just happened, bro?
I think you sided against me. In the future, I'll remember that. I thought we were friends, you know?
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, bro. You're not
When
fooling
the fighting
anyone.
starts, I won't hold back. I just want to be on Draku's good side, you know? If he ends up winning, I still want to form an alliance. But if Vivian wins? Well, I don't know. That means either myself or Draku would be dead. I'm not going to think about that. Let's go check out the ball.
So what do you think of everything that I went against your advice, advisor?
We believe you made the wrong choice, Monarch. Draco is yet to lose any fights in the Colosseum. This fight doesn't appear to be any different. The strength he could have offered was incredible too, but instead you decided to choose the weaker man. Ideals aside, choosing weakness makes no sense. Who cares about a changed Alarinthia if we lose the war? We can give Vivian what he wants, and then march to Mount Death's. Strength is what wins wars, not the desire for change, and not hope. We will be exploring the castle if you need us. The ballroom is our next stop, so we can meet there. In the meantime, enjoy this ball as much as you can.
Hey,
What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
I'm grateful for your support. I really am. I've always told you how much I want to change this place, and now I'm getting the chance. This almost feels like a dream. I'm not a fan of what Crow did, though. I hate to say this, but I'm prepared to kill him. If I see an opening, I have to take it, Monarch. I think I need a few drinks after all of this. Truth be told, I'm still a little confused about everything. But I assume that confusion will wane when the battle starts.
Yeah? Yeah? Are you sure about that, alright?
I'm going to go check out the rest of the castle. I'll see you around. Remember, party responsibly.
Oh, don't tell me what to do, Dad. Alright, so let's talk about these.
Hey, Draku?
Yes,
This is a really nice castle you've got here.
thank you.
I was admiring it from the outside. I noticed it's built in a really interesting way. It's pretty bumpy. Lots of places for footholds.
Footholds?
He's thinking about climbing your walls.
Yeah, like places to rest your feet. I was actually going to ask you about that. Was it built that way intentionally? For climbing?
Every ruler adds to this castle in their own way. I've been in power for several decades by now. You're the only one who's ever noticed my addition.
You made it that way? Does that mean you like to climb too?
Yes, it does. That's how I start my day. There's no workout quite like it.
Do you use some special equipment? I got some metallic claw-like things in Mazeo.
Fortame's like, you know what? I'm thinking I'm regretting your... You know, I said that I'd like that you sided with Vivian to change Fontaine, but now I'm regretting my decision. He likes climbing. Does Vivian like climbing? I don't think so. What did you do, see, Monarch? What did you do? You're taking climbing out of frickin' Alarinthia. How dare you? We're breaking up. We're breaking up. We're...
I have no use for such things. I prefer to go it alone, without safety. It makes you think about every little move. One accident and you fall to your death. You don't need those claws. Just climb smarter. A handicap takes away your sense of achievement.
I think I'll need them, actually. I'm planning to climb the Grand Tree in Valinor. If you saw it, you'd understand the necessity.
The Grand Tree. Does it live up to its namesake?
Do you think he'll ever know, Draco?
Yeah, it does. It's probably the ultimate challenge. It overlooks the entire world, you know?
Interesting. Very interesting. Perhaps I should pay Valinor a visit one day. I never thought the mainland could provide me with a challenge.
Oh, it can. Trust me. I've been climbing my entire life. Want to hear about more fun places?
I can spare some time, yeah.
Aw, they're climbing buddies. Fontaine's like, now I don't like it that you're fighting this guy now. Alright, so we're gonna pick the empty slot here. Alright, so let's go to the ballroom. We're gonna go to the... Oh, we chose the corrupt path. Surround yourself with Vivian in the Colosseum. So, yeah, it does seem that, like, as I said, the pattern seems to be if you change how Alarinthia is, like, set up. If you're very, like, if you pick things that are pretty, like, change the world as it is, they seem to be sort of corrupting. So let me check the save files here. 20% corruption. When I enter the ballroom, I notice my comrades scattered about. They're all enjoying themselves and having the time of their lives. Draco spared no expense. This was fancier than anything I've ever seen. There's a live band playing music that's pleasant to the ear. Couples sway around the dance floor while others feast on a buffet. An open bar attracts many patrons. There's something for everyone here. My comrades notice me and give me smiles as they enjoy their party. As I'm about to step forward, someone bumps into me from behind. It was clearly on purpose to grab my attention. I quickly turn around.
I hope you're prepared to fight, Monarch. You'll be among the soldiers during tomorrow's fight. Regardless of your allegiance, I'm excited to see your abilities. I would be honored to know that you gave it your all. Either way, I thought it would be best to come meet you here. You're a guest in my castle, not a prisoner, as it may have seemed.
I've actually never been in combat before, so if you're looking for my abilities, it is to get stabbed and die, probably.
It's just tradition for challenges. They're mostly issued at the castle. It ensures that the people involved in the fight can't back out. We take these battles very seriously, as you could tell.
I nod, and that much was clear.
I hope we haven't issued any offense.
No, I know what you're doing. No, I know what we're doing with what needs to be done. I guess it is what it is. Let's move on. You can code it any way you want. We're still prisoners. You can keep me here as long as you want. Of course, not everything is fine. So it's interesting that they're giving us a ways to talk to Draco here. I wonder if like this is like this seems like it could get very interesting, like this battle, right? Because it's like there are two characters at stake, and those two characters could be replaced by two other characters. Who knows? Maybe Ulrich will die and be replaced by somebody else. Maybe who knows how this will turn up. It's very interesting. Like, and I've made so many wrong guesses about this whole thing that I'm not even gonna go into speculation here. It's just kind of weird for me. It's all good. Yeah, right. Actually, I think I've heard of open bars at a convention, or like, and I heard that people got pretty drunk, and yeah. Some individuals didn't hold their liquor so well. It is what it is. That's about what I had said. It is what it is. It is what it is. No one's gonna flirt with the Drake, with the guy we had just opposed. We're not gonna flirt with the enemy. I mean, I understand, like, people, it's their vacation, right? So I don't judge people too much about going overboard. It's their break. They can do what they want on their break. But just as long as they don't, negatively interfere with other people's vacations as well. It's a give and take. It is what it is. Let's move on going once. It is what it is. Moving on going twice. It is what it is. Let's move on.
You accept your fate. That is admirable. I wish you best of luck in the future, Monarch. If you'll excuse me, I believe we have a party to enjoy.
He walks into the ballroom and quickly crowded by people. Greeting every single one, he assures that they're all happy. He's very charismatic. Everyone painted him as a savage man. I noticed Dominic and Valessa standing off to the side. They don't seem overly interested in joining the party. I didn't get their input yet, so maybe I should approach them. I take a few steps forward as to not to block the entrance of the ballroom. The music gets louder and the reverberation fills the grand room. The sight and sound combines to make an utterly beautiful experience. I try my best to enjoy this before retiring to my private quarters. When I was ready to sleep and then fight, that's where I would go. I couldn't delay it forever, but I could occupy myself for a bit. For a bit? I mean, look at all this. This is crazy. Alright.
This place is incredible. Draku sure knows how to throw a party. What about you, Ulrich? Having fun?
Draco was my enemy, Valessa. We're practically being held prisoner. Despite that, yeah, I'm having a good time.
I could tell, actually. How many drinks is that? 5? You don't want to fight with a hangover, do you?
It wouldn't be the first time. I've taught myself to fight in any state of being. Just something you learn to do when you're as old as I am.
And how old is that?
Oh, hey, W+. Yeah, I saw your comments on that. I'm glad that was an interesting one. I really kind of liked it. And I'm glad you really enjoyed that particular thing. I don't always get back on comments all the time, so don't take too much stress over that.
Old enough. Besides, I doubt I'll have much trouble tomorrow. Even if I fought Draku while drunk, I could take him down. So don't worry about my well-being. I've got this.
You can fight while you're drunk, too?
Of course. It actually makes things easier. Your movements are sloppy and unpredictable. That's all you need to confuse and overpower your opponent.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. That's a pretty unique fighting style. You'll be sober tomorrow, though, right?
He knows the drunken style. He's a master of the drunken style. Whoa, bright show.
Depends on how tonight goes. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Just go and have a good time, alright?
Alright, if you say so. This is gonna be super interesting. 2 undefeated men, locked in combat.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put on a good show for you. It's like a sport. Everybody will be watching intently. You better cheer for me. I'll be listening, Melissa.
I sort of responded to some of his some of the comments on it, but then I was like, I don't know if I have anything to add. Like, it's one of those things. I'll give thumbs ups to people's for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's a small enough community where at least I can communicate with everybody on things, even like on most comments on videos, which is good.
Sure.
Alright, so we're gonna go with Parallel Crowlon's Halen 2. While the bodies swayed on the dance floor, Halen and Shane did a dance of their own. Weapons clashing, they sparred. It was time for Halen to put his new apprentice to the test. So far, it seems that their skill was equally matched, a deadlock of the best variety.
You put up more of a fight than Servi ever did. Where did you learn techniques like that, Shane? It almost feels like you're the teacher in this scenario.
You pick up a lot of stuff on the streets of Museo. Back when I was younger, it was either fight or die. A lot of the rebels are just like me, so get used to it.
Let me guess, you all banded together after the occupation. That means if I learn your weakness, I learn theirs. A weak strategy, all sharing the same fighting style.
I kind of like, I started it, I think what you're referring to is if I had, like, my Discord, I think I had, like, created a channel, and then I, like, was like, I don't feel like running one. Like, that's sort of a time sink that I could be spending doing on other things. So it's kind of like, it was something I was like, oh, I might be interested in doing it, and I saw, like, other channels, and it's like, it's not really what's necessary right now. I'll think about it in the future about having a Discord channel.
Well, now I know why you wanted to spar so soon, and here I thought you might be warming up to me.
Don't flatter yourself, Shane.
Then stop giving me reasons to.
Their weapons clash again, Halen's sword with Shane's daggers. He had no problem being Halen's match with such small weapons. His agility and quick thinking was more than enough to conquer the raw
I guess Sophie wasn't much of a fighter.
He used to be, but I could tell he always held back. There was doubt in his mind, and it clouded his judgment. I trusted it would go away, but you know what happened next.
Yeah, and he's paying for his mistakes, but you can trust me, Halen. I won't let you down. Remember what I did when we were in Museo.
You killed your former leader, your best friend. I don't need anything else from you, Shane. That proves your loyalty almost tenfold.
Good.
Shane sheaths his daggers, done with the sparring.
So what do you think Sophie will do next? I mean, he's no longer welcome in Balteus, right?
I saw him wandering the halls before he left. It's funny. He might actually try to seek out the blade. He was saying something about Alarinthia over and over.
What makes him think it'll be an Alarinthia?
Well, the rebellion will try its hardest to survive. After what we did, it makes sense that they'd flee the mainland. They can't come here, so the only other option is Alarinthia.
Makes sense when you put it that way. Maybe he can regain his honor after all. But I have to ask, why aren't we going?
The rebellion will come here eventually. We have the home advantage if we sit and wait. There's no way they can overpower our army.
That's smart. So we're really doing this. We're going to end the rebellion.
And any more that may come. I sense a bright future for us, Shane. And we'll do it all. For the Triumvirate.
Yeah, for the Triumvirate.
For the Triumvirate! Oh, you had a channel, Bonnie? Our Discord channel?
So, Pro, are you having a good time?
Of course. All according to plan. I know Ulrich is mad, but he'll get over it. We can win this without either of us dying.
Yeah, just take out the leader, right? Ulrich is stubborn, though, so be careful. I think he might actually try to kill you.
I've been watching him spar for years. I'll be fine. I know exactly how he operates. The best weapon is knowledge, right?
You remembered my lessons.
How could I forget? It'll help me win this battle. I know it. Make sure to cheer me on, all right?
I think I'd like to remain silent, actually. I can't be taking sides at a time like this. As long as we get an alliance, I'm happy.
Oh, come
Hey,
on.
Strangelove.
Not even gonna clap for me. I'll remember that when you give another speech.
I'll clap for you, Pro. We'll all clap for you. Let's clap for Pro. Let's give Pro a clap.
I think my days of giving speeches are over, Pro. That honor belongs to the monarch now. But I'm sure they'd say the same as me.
Man, I hate how neutral everybody is acting. Sometimes it's all right to take a side.
Well, it's not that I'm not taking a side. It's more like... I shouldn't gossip to you. You're a combatant. It'd affect your morale.
What an interesting way to tell me that you side with Ulrich. Sometimes not saying something tells me all I need to hear.
Now you're just putting words in my mouth. The only person I tell is the monarch.
Interesting.
What?
You're not the first person to unconditionally trust the monarch. Perhaps I could use that to my advantage in the future.
I think this is where I get back to the party. This whole scheming business isn't really for me, but I doubt the monarch would abuse their role for you.
You're probably right, Dominic. They'd have to do it without knowing. Just imagine the swindling I could do.
He's such a swindly man. Alright, let's talk to Valessa. I approach Valessa and watch her inspect the buffet table. It looks like she's having a hard time deciding what to eat. It's all free though, so I'd have some of everything.
Why do they need to put alcohol?
That sounds like
everything?
me, actually.
These pastries would be fine on their own, you know. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, Sam. I'm taking the Sam route. I'm not taking a side. She fills a plate with random sweets. It appears that they're all alcoholic in nature. That sounds fancy, but they're all doused.
The locals are sure eating this stuff up, though. Call me old-fashioned, but food and drink should stay separate. If this is a delicacy around here, then Alarinthia isn't really my place.
Are you saying this is too much like a Grand Corral? I'm just getting word that YouTube has lost all sponsorship with Grand Corral. I apologize to you, YouTube and Google. I am so sorry. I did not mean to affect your relationship with Grand Corral if you had one. I apologize. They are a fine feeding establishment. If they want to advertise on my channel, that is absolutely fine. Oh, Golden Corral? Dang it! I messed up the entire joke by getting the frickin' name of the restaurant wrong. So, that actually saves me, because I wasn't talking about Golden Corral at all. I was talking about Grand Corral, which doesn't exist. So no sponsorships affected, right?
But you gotta eat, right? This isn't the kind of place you want to go hungry. I never thought I'd miss some of the food back in Valenworth.
So it is like a Golden Corral.
But enough about that. Are you having a good time, Monarch? Aside from the whole Coliseum business, of course.
I'm hungry. Give me food. That's my response. It's alright, I suppose. I can't believe Dar's nerves holding us here. I'd almost like to stay his prisoner forever. It's much better now that I'm with you. Yeah, Daiko sure knows how to throw a party. None of those answers are close to what I said, so I'm going to put my vote in. I know where I'm putting my vote in. I'll let you guys decide. Alright, Golden Bonnie says, it's much better now that I'm with you. He did Golden Corral. Golden Bonnie. Golden Bonnie. Golden Bonnie, you could be a mascot for the new Golden Corral. It's like Chucky Corral, Chucky Golden Corral. Oh, I did use the restroom when you guys were making the decision for what's that guy's name? You were making the Vivian and Daru thing. I ran to the restroom real quick. Alright, we have a much better now that I'm with you. That's 2 people saying that. We got 5. It's alright, I suppose. No, I wasn't sneaky. I announced it. I did say I'll be back after I take a little rest break while they were deciding. So, okay, it looks like we're gonna flirt. Oh my goodness. Like, this is Mumbo number 5, guys. Like, we're basically... It is literally Mumbo number 5. I think we flirted with like every single character on our thing except for Howl. And I don't know if we can flirt with Howl. This is a Mumbo number 5. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody. Alright, it's much better now that I'm with you. Alright, guys.
Stop it, Monarch. You're embarrassing me. There's far more interesting people here than me. Try mingling with the locals. I'll always be around.
She smiles softly and eats her pastries on her plate. She's like, I get when I hear rivers, I eat. It isn't much longer till they're gone. She must have been starving. I don't blame her. The journey has been taxing in every possible way, and that's why I said, I want to eat. Give me food.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. I talked to Alex a little more on the way here. You know, to learn a little bit more about our parents.
So has Alex been walking with us here? Because I haven't seen him.
Part of me was hoping to hear something positive. You know, like they were paragons of virtue or something.
No, they be pirates.
But maybe, just maybe, they were good people.
No, me lassie. Me hearty lassie, no, they be pirates. They be scoundrels. As she talks, the live band starts to play a little bit louder. People flood the dance floor with their partners. Valessa watches as the couples with a wide smile. She places her plate back on the table.
Sorry, the music kind of cut me off. Right. I was talking about our parents. I learned so much about them on the trip here.
So, blind thing, it's like... Alright, so why don't we talk about our parents? I know that I don't think that's what the conversation's moving to. Oh, tell me everything I love to hear or care to tell me over a dance. Golden's like, I want to dance. I want to dance with somebody. Sam's like, oh, it gets worse. Ava's like, no, I'd love to hear. So Ava's like, Ava will flirt, but he doesn't want to dance. Nova just doesn't, like, Nova's like, yeah, I'll flirt, but no dance. No dance. No dancing. You know, Fontaine's in the room. And so is Pro. And so is... Oh, well, I don't know if he flirted with Ulrich or not. I've danced twice, maybe, in my life. Alright, we have 1, 2... So wait... Do we have one? We have 2 2s and 2 flirt. Well, no, okay, 1 is there. Okay, dance is 2. So we have 2 1s and 1 2. The dancing I don't usually. Well, it's yeah, that is actually an interesting point, Nova. It's like if you think about like rave dancing and how it's like individualistic, right? Like, dancing used to be, like, something that people would do sort of together. Even when you're talking about, like, real, like, in-the-moment modern music, like, sort of like swing dancing, it's all about, like, a partnership and sort of, like, doing moves together and, like, you know, getting into choreography and stuff like that. Where, like, a lot of modern dancing is very individualistic. And I think that sort of shows, like... It's actually interesting to show how, like... I wonder if you think that has like an impact on how we behave as people, like, because I know a lot of people don't pair up as much as they used to. But what if it's a rave? Yes, this looks like exactly like the place that you would have a rave. One. So I think we have 1 going once. We have 1 going twice. Alright, tell me everything. I'd love to hear. She nods and smiles.
Just a quick warning. It's not the best atmosphere for this story. I mean, talking about pirates doesn't exactly fill one with joy, but I think it's important to know more about our families.
The pirates be a joyous occasion to talk about pirates.
Like I said, I was hoping to hear some good news. I always pictured our parents as these perfect, heroic people. But it turns out they really weren't. They were bad people, Monarch.
Our parents, we always think highly of our parents when we young. When we be young whippersnappers, but then we grow up and learn our parents be people. And just like us, we become our parents too, and we just be people ass. Don't be harshing on your parents because they made the decision they had to in the time that they had to. Mazeo be a harsh place, me hearty.
I know pirates get involved in shady things, but they embraced
That's a good
it.
question.
Killing, stealing, smuggling, you name it. They were legends in Mazeo. They had a whole network operating for them while they were back home.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Nova. I wonder if they have any relation to the pirates of to the dread pirates of the Pirates' Fate.
That's how they managed to have a presence in both nations at once. They went to Mazeo every month or so to inspect their operations in person. Explains how they managed to raise us and balance their double lives.
Heard he be having a double lives. Oops. Did it? Where'd it go? There it is.
Maybe it's for the best that they passed on when they did. The village and Salus raised us. They gave us our sense of morals. I can't say I'd be too happy if I inherited the morals of our parents. They could have dragged us into the life of piracy as we grew up, too.
Yar,
that
har,
would be dangerous.
diddly-dee.
Could have died years ago, you know? If you died, and right now, the world would have no hope at all.
Yar, har, biddly bee. Being a pirate is
So
all with me.
maybe the occupation was meant to happen. It's guided us to where we are now, shaped us into who we've become. If we let them shape us, then I have no idea where we'd be right now. It's so weird, since children usually aspire to be like their parents, but right now I'm using them as a roadmap on what not to do. All I can do is dedicate my life to being better people than them.
So, I mean, like, honestly, like if their parents were living a shady double life because they had to, and they placed their kids in Valinor to sort of shelter them from that particular aspect of their lives, I don't see them as horrible people, honestly, because it's like they did what they sort of should have done is they kept their kids away from the part of their lives that they weren't proud of, right? If they were proud of being a pirate in their morals, they would have yar, we be pirates, me hearty. But because they hid the kids away, they obviously weren't proud of the situation that they were in either.
Maybe that can undo some of the damage they've done. Because I know they tore families apart. They killed. They robbed. Some would say that, in the end, being murdered was their justice.
And obviously I've made my speech here, so I obviously have some disagreements with Valessa.
But I don't think death is a good form of justice. They should have gotten a chance to make up for their crimes.
They raised
They've been
us.
gone. I feel like it's our job to do what they couldn't. So, that's something else I'm going to fight for. I'll make up for the damage our parents inflicted. I'll give the world peace, so no one has to feel pain. We'll make a world that doesn't need people like our parents. A world that treats everyone with unconditional love and equality. No one will have to live in poverty or turn to a life of crime. Nobody deserves to be a victim of circumstance. To have their life determined by the world around them? No, it's not it at all. We shape the world, not the other way around.
Nah, I think it's a give and a take. She looks into my eyes with overwhelming determination.
So let's shape it into something beautiful. A place where no one has to resort to being evil. I'm sure our parents were introduced to it somehow. It's not like they woke up one day just wanting to be pirates. Maybe it was their parents before them, or some close friends. I guess it doesn't matter, does it? We'll make the cycle end with us. And we'll start a new cycle. One of peace, happiness, and prosperity. One where our children can live full, happy lives.
Yeah, and as I said, as I'm trying to explain to you, Valessa, is that Yeah, our parents wanted the cycle to end with us. Why do you think they didn't tell us that we were pirates? The music slowly comes to an end, and everybody leaves the dance floor. Valessa watches for a while before people speak again, enjoying the moment.
When we get back to Museo, I want to see their old hideout. And I'd really like it if you'd come with me, Monarch. It'll give me a sense of closure. And let me move on. I never thought I'd learn more about our parents in this journey. And I'm even more surprised that it's a truth I never expected. But if I could go back and never learn it, well, I wouldn't. It gives me the drive to become a better person. And it really makes me appreciate everything I have. Including you, Monarch. I could never do this alone.
She smiles and then examines the room.
I'll let you go and tend to some business, Monarch. I should probably talk to Fortin about this stuff, too. He deserves to know about his parents just as much as us.
I nod and watch as she slowly walks away. Only she could turn a horrible truth into something with courageous optimism. But she was right. We'd create a better world, but where no one would have to be hurt. Valessa's loyalty scene has been unlocked. It'll be available when you get to the completion of Act 4. Loyalty scenes can be initiated at the Rebel HQ War Table. "45 minutes from midnight." Well, at least that's still time, right? I mean, we've been at the, what is it? We've been like 2 seconds to Doomsday, on the Doomsday clock for like 4 decades now. Those are some pretty long seconds, man. Alright, that was actually a long conversation with that. So let's talk to these guys.
Do we know how to throw parties or what?
Who do you mean by we?
Our people. Like, the pure ones. We're different civilizations, remember? Did the old monarchy party like this?
We partied like it was $9.99.
This line of questioning is pointless. Why do you wish to know such trivial information?
It's what friends do, Hal. Haven't you ever heard of hanging out? You just talk to each other about everything.
Well, the old monarchy did party. And to be honest, there isn't much difference. Do you see this as a sort of competition?
Of course, partying's all about being jovial and competitive. What do you think, Howell?
Not exactly. Well, maybe. It's always cool to know you have the most fun. Do you not compare yourself to other people?
That would be a waste of time. There is no benefit in being like other people. We simply wish to be ourselves. Unique.
See? This is what friends do. They just talk. Keep going, Hal. Tell me what's on your mind. You don't need a specific topic or anything.
We would ask why you consider us a friend. Does the world benefit from this conversation? Is there a purpose to this sort of interaction? Perhaps we should talk about the matter at hand. There is much to discuss about Vivian and Draco.
Nope, we can't talk about that. That's work stuff. We're here to unwind.
Another concept we do not understand. Every moment we waste, the enemy gets stronger.
It's not a waste, though. If our bond grows stronger, then so do we. It's important to get along with your comrades, Hal.
Very well. We will try. This party is an interesting experience. Are you having a good time, Fortane?
Oh my god, it sounds like... He sounded like he was cracking when he had to do that. Are you having a good time? Are you rang? It's like Lurch.
There we go. Now you're doing it right. Just a few more steps and you'll be ready to dance.
We would rather die.
Now you're talking. Access Damek Heart to Heart 4, yeah. I walk over to Damek and he's standing alone in the corner of the ballroom. He looks a bit awkward, like he knows he doesn't fit in, but I don't blame him. Oh, it's Troy. Hey, Alice Troy. He looks a bit awkward, like he knows he doesn't fit in, but I don't blame him. With the story he told me last time, I knew a crowded ballroom floor would frighten him.
Hey there, Monarch. I hope you're having a good time. I mean, given the circumstances, of course.
Yeah, okay, so what I was referring to in that Damek narrative is that last time in last episode, Damek told me that he had a traumatizing experience as a child where he's, holding out his hand and, and the other person touched his hand and, his mother, touched his hand and was, basically brutally murdered as it does, so he doesn't like hand-holding or anything like that.
I can imagine it's hard to have fun when you know what's coming. Actually, forget I said that. I don't want to ruin your experience. I'm just airing my own grievances. Forgive my venting.
I tell him it's fine and then stand beside him. Together we watch the patrons dance in the center of the room. They look like they're having the time of their lives while we just stand there.
You know, I've been thinking. I faced death back in Mazeo and I'll face it tomorrow. After that, I'll just go on to face it again when we attack Balteus. I could die tomorrow, or the next day, or the day after. So I keep asking myself, what should I do before I die? A lot comes to... I want to go back to where it happened, Monarch. Back to the place where I spent the last moments with my mother. I've never been back there since I grabbed that pendant. I was scared. Just thinking about that place made it seem like it was happening all over again. I can't even imagine what would happen if I went back there for real, you know? It's easy to avoid since the town square is quite large, but I'm done avoiding things. I could have died back in those tunnels, Monarch. Something like that really puts things into perspective. If I die, I want to make sure I've lived life to the fullest. So that means there's a few things I'd like to do. Most importantly, I'd like to go back to where I lost my mother. I don't want that place to hold power over me. I want the power. You already know about some of my other fears too, but it'd be ill-mannered of me to request your help for those. So, about Mazeo, I'd just like a good friend to be by my side.
He blushes and shuffles in place. It was clear that he meant his fear of physical contact. I could help him with the Mazeo trip, but I stopped to think about the rest.
Can you say something, Monarch? I don't know if I can handle such an awkward silence.
I'll try to help you along the way as much as I can. That's my blind response, so let's see what the actual responses are. The actual responses are, of course, I'll help you once we get back to Mazeo. Don't worry, Damek, I can help put all your fears to rest. Or, I enjoy every moment we spend together, even the silent ones. Those all seem like... it's kind of funny that, I can't, shoot him down, no, deal with your own personal problems yourself. I cast you out. There's no, bad options here. You're more crazy than I am, Nova, for sure. I am certainly not an adventure-y kind of person. I am a very set in my ways kind of person who just I do my streams, I do my work in the office, I do my videos, I go to conventions every once in a while, I visit with my parents sometimes to have dinner. I am a very easy person to predict. Just ask Google. They'll be like, yeah, we know what route you want to do. Alright, so we have 2 1s. And Golden Bonnie wants to choose 2 or 3. I would choose whichever one other people choose, because obviously the ones have it right now. I'm cool. Man, the word cool really has lost all meaning, hasn't it? Alright, so we have 2. So we have 2 1s and 1 2. It's always interesting to see the 3 just to be an asshole. Bullshit, Roo, you're cool. Sam voted 0. Yeah, Yeah, Sam's good at voting 0. Alright, so the ones still have it. So unless anyone else votes for any of the other ones, it's going to be 1 going once, 1 going twice. Oh yeah, 3! So we got 2 3s and 2 3s and 1 2 3 2 3s and 2 1s and 1 2. Eventually, Sam's 0. You know what's funny though? It's like I like this chat size right now because it's manageable. Like I cannot imagine having like 20 or 30 people show up and then like all of a sudden I'm slamming numbers down and trying to go, okay, we have done 30, and I'd have to like have like a I'd have to have like a piece of paper like by my side and I'd have to go okay, tallying it up and then like spending all this time like tallying it. At least it's like manageable right now, for sure. So, I believe we had him say 2. So if Strangelove, if you want to change your vote, you can choose between 1 and 3 to do half a point. Unfortunately, the other guys didn't pick your romance option. So you can do, of course, I'll help you when we get back to Mazeo, or enjoy every moment, even the silent ones. Alright. 1's going once, 1 going twice.
Really? I can't thank you enough, Monarch. I just know that I wouldn't be able to do this myself. Having someone by my side makes me that much stronger.
He's a blue doggy guy. I know you kind of have a thing for this guy. He smiles almost like a weight was lifted off his shoulders. It would be important for me to enter the final battle with a clear mind. When we got back to the mainland, there'd be no reason not to help him.
Well, that's pretty much all I had to say. I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing, unless there's anything else you had to say before you go.
Are you sure you're gonna be alright? You sound like you're like, don't go. But I'll stand here and be a wallflower man. If he doesn't want to vote, choosing not to vote is a choice. I will respect his choice if he doesn't want to impact the thing. Yeah, right? Sam's just waiting to vote. See, Sam is waiting till like the actual important vote at the important decision at the very end of the game, and then he'll go, "Ha-ha! Decision time!" And then everyone will be like, "Oh, Sam made a choice." Alright, so not really. Have a wonderful evening, Damek, or would you consider being my date for the evening? Just don't tell Fontaine who's standing over there. And Pro who's standing over there. Three. Strangelove is like, there's no third option, but I'll go with that. So we have 2 2s. Would you consider being my date for the evening? Going once. Would you consider being my date for the evening? Going twice. Here we go.
Oh, really? Did Mike talk about seizing the day inspire you? I mean, I guess I could keep you company. I don't have any other plans. And just in case it goes badly tomorrow, you deserve a really good night.
He smiles and we walk to around the ballroom together. We stop at the buffet table and inspect our potential options. Yeah, I know, right? It's like nobody. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like you're not communicating.
Alarinthia pastries. Are these any good? If you're seizing the day, then I guess I should too.
I don't know if this is seizing the day or seizing our arteries, Damek. He grabs one of them and starts to eat it. After a few bites, he starts to cough and his eyes wide open. He wipes away crumbs that fall from his attire and blushes embarrassed.
Of course they're infused with alcohol. Somehow. Everything in this nation has some sort of a twist to it. You can never just get what you want in Alarinthia. Well, unless of course I'm talking about you. A fine place to have our first date, despite the circumstances. When you forget about the Colosseum nonsense, this isn't too bad. If things go well, then maybe we can come back next year. People do that stuff, right? I mean, celebrate anniversaries. When you take the throne, you can travel wherever you want. And I'd be honored if you let me stand by your side. You know, I was always too scared to flirt or bond with anybody. But I guess a changed perspective is one benefit of a near-death experience. If you could even call it near. I'm pretty sure I did die. And if you want to know what scared me the most, nothing happened. When I was younger, they said I'd see my mother again in the afterlife.
Well, you don't know that, Damek. I mean, you kind of had an afterlife. I guess a blunt way of putting it is sort of an afterlife abortion. You were heading toward the afterlife, and then you're like, nope, we're going back to the real life. So you don't know. How do you know?
That's kind of what kept me going. That thought made me happy. In fact, I even smiled in my final moments. I'd finally see her again. The world is a cruel place, though. And of course, nothing happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, being around people is great. But obviously, like, if it's like we're talking like romance and stuff like that, there is certain things where communication is very important. And, you know, and the internet, it's you know, I think a lot of the tropes about visual novels is the same with the internet. It's really easy to, you know, to flirt with random strangers. When it comes down to it, if like someone's saying, well, anniversaries and like really a date and things like that, it becomes a little bit more serious, right? And then it's like, it's fine to have open relationships if that's your thing, but you really need to be good about communicating those kind of things. Because right now, the thing that's sort of red flagging to me personally, is like, you know, I'm flirting with all these people, but do these people know I'm flirting? Like, I kind of feel, and especially since I'm a person in a position of power, right? And I think I mentioned this last time, is that, like, I'm a monarch, and I'm, like, flirting with all of my subordinates, and it's like, it kind of takes on a whole new definition at that point, and it's like, oof. God, you had an afterlife abortion. Yeah, that's my quote of the year for sure. I think I avoided saying that bluntly like that, but that's, I guess, basically the gist of what I said. The world is a cruel place and nothing, of course, happened.
Until I opened my eyes again and saw you and Hal. That changed something inside of me. My priorities shifted. The thought of seeing my mother again had completely disappeared. If I chased the future, I'd never enjoy the present. That's part of why I agreed to join you on this date, actually. I just wish I was able to realize this sooner, before the attack. The monarchy saved me by using their powers to heal me. I'll never waste the second chance they gave me. Never. I'll embrace it and savor every moment until the end.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, that describes sort of what happened. It's like he didn't fully go to the other side because he ended up back in the real world. So if there is an afterlife, how can you can't really determine that, yes or no. We continued chatting and spending time with one another. The events in the Rebel HQ definitely made him a changed man. And it was a good change, too. His seizing the day, as it were. When we returned to Museo, I'd take him back to that fateful spot. But with me by his side, I think he'd overcome his past. And when that happened, we'd build a new happy future together. Or would we? Damek's loyalty scenes is unlocked. Loyalty scenes will be unlocked when you end Act 4. They can be initiated in the war table in the Rebel HQ. So I guess the loyalty scene is like the things that we're talking about. Oh, we're going to go see this thing, or we're going to go do this thing. Because her loyalty scene is probably her finding out about her parents' pirates thing. His loyalty scene is probably the finding out where the mother came from. But anyways, let's go to page 4 and save a new game. We are making some good progress. We've got the biggest balls of them all. The dance floor is full of people swaying side to side. Watching them celebrate with big smiles helps me relax. Even in this awful time, there could still be happiness. I think we did everything, so... Is there a button I'm missing here? I must be missing something. Oh, the map. Private room. I didn't if there's any place that I didn't have a great experience it was my primary education institution. Not with my peers anyway. The faculty were fine. I enjoyed throwing myself in my studies, but I didn't care for my peers too much. As soon as I get in my private quarters, I rest the blade beside my bed. It feels really good to put that weight off my shoulders. Too bad the relief would be empirical. You know, this bed right here, this room seems more like a Monarch's room than the Rebel HQ's room. That was like a hole in the wall. As soon as I get to my I sit down on the bed and think about what will be coming in the next few days. A tournament to decide the fate of Alarinthia, an alliance to help us attack Balteris. Not even a day or two after the Colosseum battle, we'd be sailing for the final battle. Would we win, or would we perish? The blade showed me nothing when I asked. I sit down on the bed and decide not to try using the blade again. The anxiety of not being able to know almost wasn't worth it. It was supposed to do what I wanted. Was I not strong enough? The blade was so mysterious. I probably never knew. I'd probably never know. I lie down, having had enough of today's events. Things were crazy. Just when I think we get to relax, we'd be pushed into more conflict. But this conflict has clearly proven divisive amongst our team. Pro and Ulrich are against each other. Vivian and Draco too. Perhaps that is a lesson that casualties are unavoidable. Fade to black. I close my eyes and hold on to firm resolve in my heart. No, none of my comrades would die tomorrow. They'd survive. We were all survivors, and that's what we do, forever. Uh-oh. Am I having visions in my dream again? Instead of falling asleep, however, I find myself in some place familiar. It's the same locale I found myself after falling asleep in Peregrino. This wasn't just some random dream. I had to be here for a purpose. All I knew is that was the Triumvirate chambers. There was no doubt in my mind, but why was I here? Not only once, but twice? There needed to be a reason. The blade weighs heavy on my back, and I slowly pull it out. I can sense it pulsing with energy, reacting to something. I notice the idol at the back of their chambers. That's what it was. But why was the blade reacting to something like that? It doesn't look like any spirit idol I've ever seen. What is it? I feel a strong pull, almost like I have no choice but to approach it. Click the idol to walk toward it. I take slow, heavy steps towards the idol, and I feel my eyes upon it. Not just one or two pairs. It's almost like all of Alestia is watching me. I can sense my comrades at my back, almost as if they're encouraging me. It helps me push forward, as I feel resistance emanate from the idol. Why would I feel such a strong pull to something that doesn't want me? I push through, in spite of that resistance, and continue to act instinctually.
Yes, fulfill your purpose. Do what you were meant to do.
We're gonna do what we meant to do. That's the Triumvirant's voice. I remember it from the last time I was here, but I have no idea what they mean by my purpose. Still, I can't deny my instinct and I keep pressing forward. It isn't much longer before I'm standing in front of the idol. It radiates pure malice and pure evil. It fills me with fright. I look down at my blade. Was I meant to destroy this? I'm confused as to what I'm doing. Why I'm doing what the Triumvirate tells me to. It's that conflict that causes this dream to end and jolt me awake. I know, there's a lot of people, like, a lot of my younger cousins are actually married. Like, some of the, like, one of my youngest, like, when I was in high school, I think my cousin was, like, just getting into elementary, and they're married now. It's kind of crazy. I rise up in fright, gripping my chest and panting heavily. I look over at the blade resting beside my bedside. What happened? I mean, luckily my parents are being, like, sort of nice. Like, they're you know, being patient about it, but they're kind of, I guess they're kind of, like, confused, I guess, too. Like, they're talking about, like, the marriages of the other cousins, and they're like, kind of, I guess it's kind of weird that, like, I'm still unaffiliated. I took over the blade resting on my bedside. What happened? It feels as if no time had passed at all, but it's already the next morning? Just what I needed. No rest before a massive battle. The fates were playing cruel tricks on me during this journey. But I had to keep going. I couldn't give in. It would be over soon. I stand up and strap the blade to my back. As if on a cue, I hear a knock at the door before it's opened. Draco steps in, not seeming to care if I was receptive of him.
It's your turn, Monarch.
My turn?
We're transporting you to the Colosseum one by one. That way you're less inclined to try and escape us. You'll be the last one, so it's almost time to fight.
I nod. It all makes sense.
I'd advise not wasting much time, but head to the Colosseum when you're ready. You'll be followed by myself and a few guards. Oh, and good luck. You'll need it. The entire nation will be watching and cheering, but whether it's for your victory or demise remains to be seen.
He rests his back against the wall and crosses his arms. This is really happening. A battle to decide the nation's fate. I guess I'd be heading to the Colosseum when I was ready to fight. There's a book. The book rests on the nightstand. It appears to be about Colosseum battles, not regular ones though, the leadership ones. The kind of battles I'd be fighting in today. I wonder why it was placed here on purpose. We did play into Draco's hand after all.
The evolution of tournaments. Initially, rulers of Alarinthia were decided during a simple one-on-one battle, but citizens quickly realized that this was not the best way to gauge a potential ruler's true strength. They needed to add more. This is when the champion system came into play. Each fighter would elect a champion to fight by their side. This would not only test their offensive powers, but show how they handled defensive maneuvers as well. They'd have to fight their enemy and their enemy's champion while also protecting themselves and their champion. This made battles much more fun. Later on, the reserve forces came into play. Each leader would bring a force of about 20 or 30 men into battle with them. This was to make sure they knew how to lead an army efficiently as well. What started out as simple fights to the death have evolved into a full-on sport. Leaders must display their ability to fight, to defend, and to command an army. This ensures that Alarinthia is always in the best possible hands. Only the most competent warriors can win.
They look comfortable, but unfortunately I have little time to waste. I need to get to the Coliseum as soon as possible for the tournament. Heat pours in through the windows and makes it almost unbearable. It wasn't too bad last night, but in the morning, I could feel the extreme heat. I'm glad that I wouldn't be in this nation for much longer. I could never handle it. Yeah, because either I will die today, or I shall die an honorable death, and I will never have to experience this heat again. Travel back to the city, yes. Go to the Colosseum. Oh, another whole map. Woof. I make my way to the Colosseum alongside Draco and some of his soldiers. Its massive, towering structure almost pulling the castle to shame. It makes sense that it'd be bigger. Alarinthia was all about fighting.
Well, here we are. If you head on inside, you'll find your allies. After that, you'll all be escorted to a private room. You'll have a few moments to prepare once you're in there, but I'd say within the next hour or two, the battle will be over. They don't last very long if both sides have prepared enough.
He crosses his arms, looking at me dismissively.
You may wonder why I'm doing this, even though you sided against me. The answer to that is, it's in my nature to show my enemies some kindness. I do not kill in cold blood. I will mourn you and honor your memory, Monarch. It is a noble thing to die for your beliefs. Perhaps your memory will inspire future generations. Generations that can go on to be killed, just like you.
You are one sassy mother. He steps forward, looking me dead in the eye.
I do not expect to lose to Vivian. I've killed far stronger men than him. Some would call you foolish for your choice.
With a smile, he lets out a soft laugh. Oh, but Mr. Draco, I do warn you that Vivian is probably not a man of honor, and probably neither is Ulrich, and neither is Pro. So watch your back is what I'm saying.
But I am not one of those people. As I said, I treat my enemies with kindness. You may have realized it, but that's why I held the ball.
Yeah, and Vivian probably doesn't.
But the ball is over, so I must find another way to be kind. And that is showing you a swift, painless end in the Colosseum. You wish to die for your beliefs. It would be my honor to aid you.
You need to be cruel to be kind, in the right measure, cruel to be kind. After saying these harsh words, he enters the Colosseum. I have no choice but to follow him as the guards block any avenue of escape. There would be no way we'd lose. We have Ulrich on our side. He's a match for Draco. What's Sobi doing? Sobi 10. Oh no! Sobi's on his way! Sobi looks at the ocean, watching the ripples and waves. He remains silent, attracting the suspicion of the captain. Approaching Sobi, he attempts to converse to pass the time.
It shouldn't be longer than a few more hours, but I have to ask, what brings you to Alarinthia?
It's probably better for you not to know. I don't want to involve people in my problems.
Involve away. What else are we going to do? You paid me tenfold to take you and you alone. How can you expect me not to question that?
I expect you to do the job you're paid for. Anything else is unnecessary. Don't you agree?
You'll have to pay me 11-fold for me to keep my mouth shut.
Look, the way I see it, we're friends here. If you need a ferryman back, I'd love to help you out. Treat me with a cold shoulder and you could get stranded.
Is that a threat?
Of course not. I'm just curious. Here, let's start with the basics. What kind of work do you do?
No, Cruel to Be Kind is a song, Strangelove.
You already know what I do for a living. Don't you think I deserve to know as a courtesy? I don't care if you're breaking the law or anything like that.
No, I'm not breaking the law. Breaking the law. But honestly, I don't know how to answer your question. I guess you could say that I'm between things right now.
I'm between jobs, so I'm going to take over Alarinthia.
And why is that?
I thought it was time to seek out better opportunities.
You sound like somebody who's unemployed.
In Alarinthia?
To be honest, I have no idea. I just know some people who might be there. Talking to them should get things on the right track.
And what line of work are you in?
He said he's between opportunities. He's unemployed. Were you paying attention, Mikey?
I guess you could say I seek out information. Nothing pleases me greater than learning the truth. But the people I worked for were far less than honest.
It was you who were the ones that was lying, Sophie.
Lied to by your bosses? Join the club. They'll do anything to save face and get their way. That's part of why I work on my own now.
The captain scoffs, surprised at Sophie's earlier hesitance.
Is that what you were so worried to open up about? Trust me, almost everybody knows what that's like. I hope your next opportunity is more fruitful.
I can only hope.
So what did they lie to you about?
Everything.
Then I can see why you'd run away.
Excuse me?
I just mean, it's totally understandable.
I didn't run away, they kicked me out! Sophie steps towards the captain, clenching his fists. He brings himself face to face, as if trying to intimidate.
I'm not running away. I'm doing what's right.
The captain matches his gaze, taking one step forward. He didn't give in to Zombie's intimidation. He was an even match.
Sometimes running away is the right thing to do.
Yeah, right? And I am surprised they didn't kill Sophie, right? It is kind of a weird that they let him walk out of there, right? It's sort of a weird thing. They stare at each other until Sophie backs away. Something was different. Normally he would stand his ground, but he no longer served the triumvirate. He had nothing to prove.
I'm sorry. You're right. I didn't mean to start something on your boat. Once we get to Alarinthia, you'll never see me again.
There's no need to go that far. Don't misunderstand me. I've got your back. You're not the only man who's run away, you know. Why else do you think I live at sea? Sometimes I don't set foot on land for weeks at a time. I prefer to be out here, where I live on my own terms. I'm free.
Free,
Yeah, there's no better way to live. Imagine not being shackled by higher-ups. You're fully capable of making your own decisions.
Sophie sighs and looks at the ground. It was his own decision that got him into this mess to begin with. Even though the triumvirate wasn't pleased, he stood by his actions.
That would be wonderful. I've been a subordinate for my entire life. I think it's finally time that I carved my own path.
The Colosseum towers above me. It must fill thousands of spectators. For everything I've heard, every seat would be full when we started. I'm filled with anxiety and fright. Could I really perform under such scrutiny? Yeah, at the deck, yeah, right? The main atrium. I enter the Colosseum and quickly scan the area for my friends. A massive flame burns in the center of the room, making the heat even worse. I wonder why they'd do something like that. This place confuses me sometimes. Draco is nowhere to be seen. Perhaps he's already in his private room. I notice Valessa, Fontaine, and Howell are standing far away from the flame. No sign of anyone else, though. I decide to approach them and ask what's up. They turn to me and smile, while Hal shows a face of complete indifference.
I can't believe how cool this place is. Too bad I can't actually enjoy it. I'm super stressed. I'm really worried that we might lose somebody today.
Have we actually worked out who's fighting? I mean, which of our members are joining Dracu's reserve forces? The leader and the champion would know, but what about everyone else?
Hal steps forward.
Ulrich fights with Vivian. Pro fights with Dracu. Vivian's reserve forces are part of his own army. Dracu's reserve forces will borrow from our army. We believe using our created seers will be the best idea. We wouldn't want to put any of our main members at risk. If we win, our allegiance will make this sacrifice worthwhile. It is unfortunate that we will have to kill our own, but we cannot change what Pro has set in motion. All we can do is try to focus on taking Dracu's life.
He looks at me.
As for Valessa's question, the Monarch will fight among Vivian's reserve forces. It is important for a leader to fight for their beliefs. No delegation at times like this. This means that several of our key members will be put in harm's way. It may be impossible for us to avoid the loss of our reserve forces, but we may be able to win without losing any of our comrades. We must simply focus on the lives of Vivian and Dracu.
He crosses his arms, speaking sternly. It was more of a demand than a request.
Do your best to kill Dracu before any harm can come to Pro or Ulrich. We have the option to mitigate our losses, so we must take it.
No pressure or anything like that.
So you'll be safe, Hal? Along with myself and Fortum? What about Dominic? He ran off with Pro and Ulrich.
I suppose we'll find out. We should head to the private rooms and prepare. The battle will be starting in a matter of minutes.
Dominic ran off with both the champions? That's odd. I guess they've been close friends for a long time, though. Perhaps he just wants to say a chance to say goodbye to them? The odds of survival for everybody involved in this was less than stellar. But there was nothing we could do. Everything was put into place.
Let's go ask him ourselves, Monarch. This whole ordeal is kind of confusing. For a while, I was scared I'd have to fight.
Yeah, same. And I was really worried. And now I feel bad that I'm just going to watch. This whole situation is so messed up.
It is less than ideal, yes, but we cannot change our circumstances. Let us gather together for last-minute preparations. Only by preparing for the coming storm can we avoid tragedy. If we stand here any longer, the odds of losing our comrades will grow. Do not let the enemy get the upper hand. That has happened enough.
He points to a nearby staircase. That must lead to their private rooms. Yeah, everything was happening so fast. I could use a few spare moments to plan. One last team huddle before the last fight would help. We need to minimize our losses. We need to make it through this without losing Pro or Ulrich. If such a thing is even possible, then we'll find out how to do it. And if it's not, well, I honestly don't know what I'd do. It's always interesting, though, right? It's like, Fontaine, it's like, we shared an apple, man. You're just going to let me go out there and risk my life while you sit in the bleachers going, you can do it, my apple-sharing lover. You heard of War by Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu said that, and he knows a little bit more about fighting than you do, pal, because he invented it. And he perfected it so that no man can bust him on the field of honor. Hal Heart to Heart 3. Hal stands in the middle of the Coliseum lobby. Staring deep into the flames, he looks lost in thought. He's whispering to himself, but I'm unable to discern his words. I take slow, cautious steps towards him, curious as to what he's doing. But like always, he reacts before I can initiate the conversation.
We knew you'd be there, Monarch.
I take a few steps back and cross my arms. He turns to face me and look in my eyes.
A few steps backward, as always. But away from what? Do you fear us? No, you mustn't. You still choose to talk with us. Join us, and we shall look into the flames together. Like our vision, it is always changing, never the same. We've thought about this a lot since we talked on the boat.
He turns back to face the flames, and I stand by his side. Together we look into the flames with the heat assailing us, and blinding our eyes. It feels almost unbearable at first, but I soon get used to it.
I know what you're feeling, Monarch. We felt the same when our vision first went astray, but now we find ourselves asking, is it actually astray? Seeing both the future and the past, is it really bad? For example, we see Draco win the battle, but also Vivian. We see Pro fall, and Ulrich fall. We even see a future where you fall. Instead of seeing only ahead, we see in every direction. It is almost like a natural evolution to the power we hold. If we can learn to control this, it would be a tremendous boon. The same goes for the visions of the past. Different outcomes, different information, secrets revealed. What if we could search these alternate paths for information? Let us look at the attack on the Rebel HQ in Mazio. Perhaps a past exists where Damak found out about it. Not useful now, but I think you see what we're suggesting.
It makes sense. He's seeing alternate versions of the past. Perhaps versions exist where information comes to light early. If he could control that power, it would help us tremendously. For example, what if a past exists where we didn't bother with Alarinthia? He could search through the memories of their attack at Bellatrix and glean information. Perhaps we've even made it far enough to learn the Triumvirate true identity. But unless he can control this power, it would be useless to speculate. It hurts my head just to think about it, but I've seen alternative futures firsthand. I have to consider the possibility of alternate pasts as well. It stands to reason. There was no real explanation for either, so both were oddities. The old monarch had the powers of visions, but where did they come from? Hal turns to face me, the flames illuminating his different colored eyes.
We wish to try to master this ability before the final battle. If we can gain any useful information, it would aid our attack on Baltius, especially if it can help us uncover any traitors within our ranks.
Traitors?
The more we think about it, the more it makes sense. In the Rebel HQ, you were as lambs to the slaughter. The Triumvirate must have been tipped off somehow. Rest assured that if there is a traitor, we will find them. After that, their fate and punishment is yours to decide. It is unlikely that Shane is the only turncoat among you.
That thought fills me with fright.
Bro even walks along the path of disloyalty, siding with Draco, and making things more complicated. We will keep a closer eye on him. He's most suspicious.
I must admit, Pro's actions did confuse me. In fact, everyone in Alarinthia confused me. They treat this Colosseum business like afternoon tea. Like, all of this death is just a daily occurrence to them. At least it kept them introverted, and the Triumvirates would like that. Those focused on fighting themselves would be less likely to rebel.
There is more to this story than we know. We hope that in the end, an alliance is formed. We would prefer to leave this nation as soon as possible.
I think he meant isolated, not introverted.
An endless cycle of death, creating strength. Each leader falls to someone strong within themselves. Through death and sacrifice, Alarinthia gains power. We would prefer to gain power through other means. When you rule this world, Monarch, please consider this. Do not walk down a path similar to the Triumvirate. The occupation was a prime example of their nature. They kill others to gain strength, to ensure they rule. It would pain us to see you become like that. It truly would.
He stares at the sword on my back.
Because you may follow after them without even knowing it. For least. We hope.
I step away, taking his hint. I can see how mastering his new visions would be helpful. But if any traitors are revealed, that would be devastating. These were alternative pasts, he said so himself. What if someone was a traitor in one of those far-off pasts? We end up punishing someone innocent and loyal. His words are cryptic as always, especially about cycles. I know I wield the triumvirate blade, but I am not like them. The cycle of death and tyranny would end by my hand alone. I look back over my shoulder, and he's staring into the flames. Every time I talk to him, he tells me something new about his powers. We approach our final battle, however. He'd be more rushed than ever. If there were any secrets to be learned, I trust he could do it. But, as always, a few questions find themselves at the top of my list. Who are the Triumvirate? Why did they require purity? Are they all traitors? Are there any traitors? It seemed that Howl would be the key to solving all these mysteries and more. The power that he saw as a curse was now turning into a bountiful source of hope. That was the miracle of changing views, your curses and your faults becoming strengths. And if there's anything that would carry us to victory, it's finding that inner strength. The flame bursts super bright and the heat fills the room. I notice a bunch of paper burning at the base of the fire. Few people who walk by throw some more paper
What
in.
are they doing?
Oh yes, we read about this in a book. They write who they supported on a piece of parchment. When they throw it in, the flame continues to burn.
So the flame is only burning during matches?
Yes, their desire for change is the catalyst. They light these flames with their hope for the future. It is anonymous too, so you can support whoever you wish.
Well, I think it's anonymous. I mean, you burning your frickin' boat.
After the battle ends, the flame dwindles and turns to ash. A clean slate for the victor. That is what this symbolizes.
That's pretty cool. Want to get some parchment, Howl?
Sure, if you would like to partake, we can see if the victor lines up with our wishes.
I sure hope so.
You better be voting for my team, Fontaine, or I'm just going to take that apple back. This door leads to the private rooms we were supposed to prepare. We wouldn't have much time to prepare, so we'd be fighting pretty soon. Could I use the Blade of Exodus in combat? Do they even know what it is? This probably says the same thing, yep. Private room. The private room is small and cozy. One lone ruin window provides a view of the arena. We're all able to fit inside without too much discomfort. Dominic seems to be mediating an argument between Ulrich and Pro. They look in my direction as I enter, but quickly get back to business. Given the circumstances, it makes sense that Ulrich and Pro are at odds.
Stop being so stubborn, Ulrich! We can do this without killing each other. Just focus on the leader. That's all you need to do.
I don't think you heard me the first time. There's nothing I won't do to secure victory.
He takes a heavy step toward Pro, backing him against the wall.
That means if I have to kill you, I will. And there's no way you're going to convince me otherwise. The future of my nation is at stake. Your life means nothing to me.
Yeah, we're about to hit some real serious stuff here, for sure. He steps away, having made his point. Dominic interferes, getting in the way of Ulrich.
Look, we can figure something out. There's no need for either of you to die. I'll be fighting down there too, so...
Ulrich quickly cuts him off.
Stop controlling everything, Dominic. This isn't even your army anymore. You need to start acting that way.
But...
No, this army belongs to the monarch. He's the one that will be fighting down there. Besides, planning like that is against the rules. It's a fight to the death, no matter what. Conspiring to prevent that displays a lack of honor. I may want to overthrow this tradition, but I won't mock it.
Well, that kind of goes against my theory that they're planning to backstab Jarrod, isn't it? Yeah, I know, right? It's like they were friends. But, sometimes, you know, home comes first, I guess. He tilts his head toward Draku, who stands in the corner of the room.
Mutual respect. That wasn't something I expected, Ulrich. There's nothing I enjoy more than an honorable opponent. It almost makes up for the attempted crashing my ball.
He smirks, a sinister look on his face.
But it doesn't mean I'll go easy on you. Where is Vivian, by the way? Did he run?
No, he's in a separate room. Something about meditating before the fight. I leave him be until it's time to do this. Speaking of which, may I request some time with my comrades? If the battle is starting soon, then some farewells may be in order.
He looks at Pro as if his words were some sort of threat.
Of course. I didn't mean to intrude. As soon as you're ready, we will begin. I'll be in the lobby while I wait for you all.
Soon after, we're left alone, just me and my comrades. A tense feeling permeates the air. Things were different now. Even if Ulrich and Pro survived, a rift had grown among our ranks. And at this point in time, I'm unsure if we could mend it. I gulp as I wait in silence and wait for someone to speak. It's Pro. He seems to be acting quite sensible right now.
Okay, so let's go over this situation before the fight begins. We need to make sure we understand exactly what's going down. The upcoming alliance will ensure our attack on Balteus hits hard. I'm fighting alongside Draku as his champion. The fight is over if either him or myself fall in combat. Our reserve forces will consist of the created seers. On the other hand, Ulrich is fighting alongside Vivian as his champion. The Monarch will fight in Vivian's reserve forces alongside his army. It may not be as strong as Draku's, but Vivian isn't about strength. If Draku wins, the nation will stay exactly the same. But if Vivian wins, he will lead Alarinthia in a new direction. Hopefully, one that allies itself with the new monarchy.
Pro crosses his arms.
Someone will die here today. Either Vivian, Draku, myself, or Ulrich. But these deaths will not be in vain. They will give our army incredible strength. Their lives will help us reshape this world. Or mine. I'm ready to die for this too. We wouldn't stand a chance if we attacked Balteus on our own. An alliance is necessary. This is the best way we can get it. One life taken here today is worth it to change all of Alestia. To finally take this world back from the Triumvirate. We must simply hope that the Monarch made the right choice. If there even is a right choice in this type of situation. For example, our allegiance with Vivian isn't guaranteed. If Draku wins, he won't offer us his men. We sided against him. It's a good possibility, given his reputation in the Colosseum.
Pro is really taking charge here. It's impressive.
That about sums it up. Me, Ulrich, and the Monarch need to go to the arena. Everyone else will be given seats to watch us fight. If this is the last time I see you all, then goodbye. It was an honor serving you and fighting for freedom. I can only...
Oops. He stops talking and stands in the corner of the room, saying nothing. Valessa and Fontaine are nodding as they understand the situation. I could tell they were confused before, so his explanation definitely helped.
I don't have much to say. I just wanted to get rid of Draku. I'm not very good at farewells either, so I won't waste your time. Good luck in the future, all of you. I hope to see you again.
He gives us a slight bow before retreating into another corner. This leaves me with Howl, Damek, Valessa, and Fontaine.
The created seers are already waiting by the arena. I'll take everyone to our seats so we can watch you fight. I guess it's on you now, Monarch. Head to the arena.
Do you really need to rush into it like this? Can't you take some time to prepare and train?
That would be impossible. Alarinthia takes these battles very seriously. Delaying it would insult the honor of all participants.
Screw honor then. I'm not ready to say goodbye just yet. There's still so much we need to do.
I shake my head. There's no point in trying to delay this. Whatever happened, happened. I wouldn't be the tipping point.
Then don't say goodbye. Simply hope that he survives this battle. Cheer him on from the sidelines. Support him.
I guess that's all we can really do. Things will work out for the best. I know it. We're due for some good luck by now. Should we go take our seats?
Yeah, we probably should. Monarch, good luck.
He smiles at me before leaving the room. I guess not treating this as a goodbye helped him. It made me feel more like they'd be seeing us all again. I wish I could guarantee that. I really do. Vasilisa, Fontaine, and Hal soon follow suit. I'm left here with Ulrich and Pro. They're silent. There's no point in bickering at the gates of death. Perhaps they've simply accepted what's coming. This battle would start, and when I went to the arena. The battle that decided the fate of a nation, and by extension, the fate of our entire world. This is the first time I felt that weight of my role. I'm the monarch, and I'm shaping the world that I'll go on to rule. That is, if I survive the battle in the Colosseum and in Balteris. It was time to take charge. I'd go to the arena and end this. Whether I lived or died, I'd make my mark upon this world. There's a book. There's a book and sword sitting here. Between the two, there's a small dagger rest there. I go touch it, but Poe quickly stops me.
Hey, don't touch that! It's mine! Plan to use it during the upcoming battle. Never touch a weapon that's not your own.
I apologize and set my sights on the book. It seems to be about the Grand Library in Balteris. Why was it here? Was somebody studying it?
The Grand Library, located at...
Alright, let's talk to Pro. I approach Pro, who remains standing in the corner of the room. It looks like he's scared or nervous, but that's understandable. In mere moments, we'd be fighting for the future of our army. A few moments after my steps come to an end, Pro looks at me. Sorrow appears on his face, and it looks like he's filled with regret.
Look, I'm sorry for making things complicated. I've been getting looks from everybody. They hate me. I put my life at risk and foolishly offered our own army. We need that army for our final attack on Balteus. Everybody thinks I've condemned us to death, but it's not true. This situation is super complicated, and their vision is so narrow. I wish this didn't have to happen right now. Especially after that moment we shared on the boat. I'm guessing that this is it for us. Isn't it, Monarch?
Alright. So, yeah, Pro, I'm afraid it is, or of course not, I forgive you, Pro. Hey, Chase. Looks like it's obviously like I'm... Yeah, it's a good almost like, yeah, it is. This is it. And then like... Oh yeah, you were right, Gnovo. You get outvoted. Of course not. I forgive you, Pro.
Wait, seriously? Thank you. Oh, I was so scared you'd cut things off. I really value our bond, Monarch. I swear. You sided with Vivian, so this was a total gamble. It's good to know that we can endure a difference in opinion. Ulrich wasn't giving me the same courtesy. I think he'd even kill me. But I guess I can understand why he'd do that. This isn't just about an alliance to him. This is his home. He wants to change it for the better, like we all do with Alestia. I know this whole situation is really confusing. To be honest, I don't even know every little detail. But as long as we all trust each other, it'll work out.
He takes a few steps, closing the distance between us. His eyes are filled with hope now, a stark contrast to a few moments ago.
Thank you so much, Monarch. I know there isn't much time, so we need to get going. But that's all I needed to talk about. I'm good to go.
He wraps his arms around me and rests his head against my shoulder.
We'll make it through this. I know it. You may not understand, but I promise you will. Just give it time. I know I'd happily give you all of mine. After this battle, we'll have a long chat. There's so much I need to tell you, but I just can't right now. I promise that at the end of the day, this will all make sense.
You're gonna stab him in the back, aren't you? It makes perfect sense, Pro. Don't give me that. He smiles and runs off to the lobby. I guess it was time we'd finally do this. I'm thankful that our bond remains intact. Pro's loyalty scene is now available when you return to the mainland after completing Act 4, blah blah blah, we know this. Alright guys, you ready? Visiting the Colosseum will cause a long series of cutscenes to play. Doing so will conclude your visit to the region of Alarinthia. Doing this, we like to know that we would like to continue the Act 4 finale. It is midnight. So the answer to that question is no. We're going to do that next time. Because I'm a tease. Ah! Time is a horrible mistress. Because the last time that happened, it was like about an hour. So I'm not going to have you stay up till 1 o'clock at night. So we're going to conclude the Alarinthia story. Yeah, I did save the game. Just right there, dude. But yeah, so we're gonna do the battle next week. Tune in next week. Oh, cliffhanger. Ooh, it's a good time to do it, I think. So anyways, yeah, I have to pee anyway. Oh, I don't... You should, like... Golden Bonnie, here's a hint. Vote real quick, and then, like, run to the bathroom and take a pee. And then, like, come back when everyone's done voting. Like, that's probably the best time to do that. Oh, you're going to be at a con next weekend. What con are you going to, Sam? You'll have to watch the recording. No spoilers, anyone, even though only 7 people watch this at a time. 7 or 8 people. Usually, you'll learn about it at work. You'll have the whole thing spoiled for you. It's like, did you see that time where Pro did that thing that he did in the battle? That was crazy, right? Yeah, I know, right? Takes me 60 seconds to hit the head. It takes me about 60 seconds to do a vote, so... Oh yeah, the Western PA Furry Weekend. That's yeah, I've heard good things about that. That's one in the future I should look into doing. I would like to do Furry Equinox is my new one next year. But I want to try and get in contact with some of the locals first so I can understand sort of what requirements are meant to go over there. But anyways, I'm going to get the hop out of here. Thank you very much for watching. We will continue our streaming of this game on October 4th. And I will see you guys at the battle. We will see you in the arena. Next time. Have a good one, guys.